In a hidden corner of reality, where time and space intertwine in a delicate fabric of light and energy, lies a world where the ancient teachings of the ascended Master Saint Germain shine with unparalleled brilliance. The practice of the flames of Saint Germain invites you to embark on a mystical journey to the very essence of creation, a path that transcends the limitations of human understanding and connects you to the ancestral wisdom that has guided seekers of truth throughout the centuries. Imagine a universe where every thought, every emotion, every action is a divine spark that can be transformed into pure energy. Here, the sacred flames dance like ethereal fires, offering purification and power to those who dare to invoke them. As you explore the depths of this knowledge, you will discover that these flames are not mere metaphors, but living forces that can be used to heal, uplift, and transform your life. Saint Germain, the revered master of spiritual alchemy, has woven a web of light that embraces the entire cosmos, offering each of us the opportunity to awaken to our true potential. Through his teachings, you will learn to access the flames of wisdom, compassion, and freedom, guiding you toward a state of being where love and truth reign supreme. Dive into this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, where the alchemy of the spirit transforms the heavy burdens of the past into the radiant gold of renewed life. As the sacred flames burn within you, you will feel their warmth, their light, and their guidance, reminding you that you are a divine being on a path toward mastery. The magic of Saint Germain is within your reach. You just need to open your heart and mind to receive the revelation that will change your life forever. Welcome to the practice of the flames of Saint Germain, where transformation begins the moment you decide to take the first step toward the light. A certain form of understanding of God goes through this, which is why we will focus on knowing the rays and the elements, as well as the beings of light, who work so that the rays are living entities. They embody the substance of God in action without ceasing to be. They contain all virtues. Each flame holds all aspects and virtues, and these virtues particularly act on each of a particular ray and its own archetype to which it belongs. But it is essential to emphasize that this is not limited to a single sphere, as it can visit any non-ascended being that will respond more favorably to. That is why everyone must observe in their habits or the ray to which they belong. One easy way is to be irresistibly attracted. Saint Germain, the official history, the origin of Count Saint Germain. There are multiple claims, but the most credible states. In his memory, Saint Germain claimed to be his first wife. In a certain way, despite that, he raised the question many times. He was presumed by, this is what Saint Germain means according to what is said. The sources tell us that this name comes from Saint Germain in the Tyrol, Italy. This strange character, from ancient and modern languages, has amazed European courts throughout Europe under various names such as Marquis, Knight Weldon, Count of Solti, Prince Rakoshi, the transmutation of metals and precious stones. For him, also claiming that he knew how to prepare, he always retained his youthful appearance, as all those who were alongside him showed in their bodies. The passage of years, Saint Germain was an adept endowed with the most Marie Antoinette, the tumultuous events, ubiquity, and it is said that he could appear wherever he was needed without resorting to the use of, when quickly reading a long writing. The next day he perfectly controlled, and demonstrating this by writing 2 letters on the same, one of high philosophy. As a musician he had all the instruments, although the violin was his, proportionate and of medium weight, with features, brown hair, a wide forehead, and widely spaced eyes. He dressed in a fitted manner, and generally in black. He had the habit of recounting several centuries and even millennia back, which was often followed by skepticism and mockery from the faithful he had. He also acted on the field with the Dutch by order of Louis Tex, of such a mysterious and enigmatic subject as the house of his friend and protector, Prince Charles. This, if true, as he was vile, the revolutionary episodes, and to Rudolf Kfir in the 19th and 20th centuries, such as the birth of in the 19th century and the climatic changes that took place at the end of the 20th century. Who is truly hidden tells us that the highly individuality adapted under the physical cover of philosopher Fran Becken. And before that, the same philosopher wrote the works that later appeared as In the Body of Francis Piquen and his Fourth and Fifth. Master Rakosi, belonging to the Seventh Ray, the great internal government of the world that directs the 20th century, took on the function of Maun, called the Three Great Lords, embodying the three, intelligence or activity, guide the children of the intelligence aspect, and its task is to thus strengthen the relationship between life, the civilization resulting from man's action. Germain has a soul of the Seventh Ray, magic, physical, belonged to a secret Masonic lodge, performs mainly through ritual, a subsidiary of the third, just like the fourth, assume the position of Maun to all disciples. His contribution to scientific discoveries of, through telepathic pressure in the mind, inspirations that every deep thinker knows, Saint Count of Saint Germain, noble of Sobramonte, return to the world according to what some think for physically fit and pure, just as Christ did, that he had through the body of Gautama, where the Count will, Archangel Jophiel, Monday, a virtue wisdom. Very dear Archangel Jophiel, envelop me in your illuminating rays so that I, the divine ideas that come to me from God to the gold, his day is Monday. The Archangel who maintains it, constancy. His director is the Ascended Master. Beloved Minerva, the yellow gold ray represents peace, the virtues that are distinguished therein. Do not consist in the possession of knowledge. Acquired knowledge represents the knowledge. A person, an eminent scientist, or wisdom in the human being begins. The experience is acquired in all its lives. Wise people who tend to criticize the cause, the deep or dramatic motive that can, any being by allowing itself to behave in this manner, they still lack love experiences to be able to love one's neighbor as oneself. Unfortunately, effect and never the cause between the cosmic laws, effect, what people call personality, is in a series of previous causes that, when added together, give us, more or less imperfect, whose sequel is the fact that this creates this or that, whether it be timid or aggressive. Life, and before their peers, many speak of beings. It is talked about, but will they know who can be exempt? Does not carry within him a silent frustration. On this plane, there is a famous man who said one day, Introduction to the Practice of the Flames of Saint Germain. In a hidden corner of reality, where time and space intertwine in a delicate fabric of light and energy, lies a world where the ancient teachings of the Ascended Master Saint Germain shine with an incomparable brilliance. The practice of the Flames of Saint Germain invites you to embark on a mystical journey towards the very essence of creation, a journey that transcends the limits of human understanding and connects you to the ancestral wisdom that has guided seekers of truth through the ages. Imagine a universe where every thought, every emotion, every action is a divine spark that can be transformed into pure energy. Here, the sacred flames dance like ethereal fires, offering purification and power to those who dare to invoke them. As you explore the depths of this knowledge, you will discover that these flames are not mere metaphors, but living forces that can be harnessed to heal, uplift, and transform your life. Saint Germain, the revered master of spiritual alchemy, has woven a network of light that embraces the entire cosmos, offering each of us the opportunity to awaken to our true potential. Through his teachings, you will learn to access the flames of wisdom, compassion, and freedom, guiding you toward a state of being where love and truth reign supreme. Dive into this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, where the alchemy of the spirit transforms the heavy burdens of the past into the brilliant gold of a renewed life. As the sacred flames burn within you, you will feel their warmth, light, and guidance, reminding you that you are a divine being on the path to mastery. The magic of Saint Germain is within your reach. All you need to do is open your heart and mind to receive the revelation that will change your life forever. Welcome to the practice of the Flames of Saint Germain, where transformation begins the moment you decide to take the first step toward the light. A certain form of understanding of God comes through this, which is why we will focus on knowing the rays and the elements as well as the beings of light who work so that the rays are living entities. They hear the substance of God in action without ceasing to be. They contain all virtues. Each flame contains all aspects and virtues, and these virtues act more particularly at each of a particular ray and its own archetype to which it belongs. But it is essential to emphasize that this is not limited to a single sphere, for it can visit any non-ascended being that will respond more favorably to. That is why each one must observe in their habits or the ray to which they belong. A simple way is to be irresistibly attracted. Saint Germain, the official history, the origin of the Count of Saint Germain. There are multiple claims, but the most credible states, in his memory, that Saint Germain claimed to be his first wife. In a certain way, despite that, he asked the question many times. He was presumed by, this is what Saint Germain means according to what is said. The sources tell us that this name comes from the Saint Germain in the Italian Tyrol. This strange character, of ancient and modern languages, who has amazed European courts for Europe under various names such as Marquis, Knight Weldon, Count of Salty, Prince Rakoshi, the transmutation of metals and precious stones, for him also claiming that he knew how to prepare. He always maintained his youthful appearance, as all those who were next to him showed in their bodies, the passage of years. Saint Germain was an adept endowed with the most Marie Antoinette, the tumultuous events, ubiquity, and it is said that he could appear, wherever necessary, without resorting to the use of, when quickly reading a long writing. The next day he controlled perfectly, and, demonstrating this by writing 2 letters at the same, one of a high philosophy. As a musician he had all instruments, although the violin was his, proportioned and of medium weight, with brown features, a broad forehead, and wide-set eyes. He dressed in a fitted manner and usually in black. He had a habit of recounting several centuries and even millennia back, which was often followed by skepticism and mockery. From the faithful he had. He also acted in the field of with the Dutch, by order of Louis Tax, on a topic as mysterious and full of enigmas as the house of his friend and protector, Prince Charles. This, if true, as he was vile, the revolutionary episodes and to Rudolf Geffer in the 19th and 20th centuries, such as the birth of in the 19th century, and the climatic changes that took place at the end of the 20th century. Who is really hidden tells us that the highly individuality arrived at adapted under the physical cover of philosopher Fran Becken, and before that the same philosopher wrote the works that later appeared as in the body of Francis Bacon and his 4th and 5th, Master Rakosi belonging to the 7th Ray, the great inner government of the world that directs of the 20th century assumed the function of Maoan called the 3 great lords who embody the 3 intelligence or activity, guide the children of the intelligence aspect, and its task is to thus strengthen the relationship between life, the civilization resulting from human action. Germain has a soul of the 7th Ray, magic, physical, belonged to a secret Masonic lodge, carried out mainly through ritual, a subsidiary of the 3rd, just like the 4th, assumed the post of Maoan to all disciples, his contribution to scientific discoveries of, through telepathic pressure in the mind, inspirations that every deep thinker knows, Saint Count of Saint Germain, noble of Sobremonte, returned to the world according to what some think to, physically apt and pure, just like Christ, that he had, through the body of Gautama, where the Count will Archangel Jophiel, Monday, virtue of wisdom. Dear Archangel Jophiel, wrap me in your illuminating rays so that divine ideas that come to me from God to the gold, his day is Monday. The Archangel who maintains it, constancy, his director is the Ascended Master. The beloved Minerva, the yellow gold ray represents peace. The virtues that stand out precisely do not consist in the possession of knowledge. The acquired knowledge represents knowledge. A person, an eminent scientist or can. Wisdom in the human being begins. The experience is acquired in all its lives. Wise people who have the habit of criticizing cause the deep or dramatic motive that can any being by allowing itself to behave in this manner, they still lack experiences of love to be able to love one's neighbor as oneself. Unfortunately, effect and never cause between cosmic laws, effect what people call personality, and a series of prior causes that added together give us more or less imperfect, whose sequel is the fact that this creates this or that, whether timid or aggressive. Life, and before his peers many speak of beings. We talk about it, but will they know who can be exempt? Does not carry within him a silent frustration. On this plane there is a famous man who said one day, On the contrary, the pink flame, temples in the etheric plane, are located above. Love releases, as it gives you the ability to hatred, passions that do not help us at all, but spiritually, and delay our ascension. We are freed. Instead of assuming evil, we will see with the eye of love. We draw closer to God, the source of all, our neighbor, remedying our apparent ills. Good things will come to us, and we free ourselves from acting on everything that seems to be less good. The intelligent use of the pink flame comes, and remorse opens up. Giving love, we will be loved. For according to the law of what is given to us, we will reap. If love the use of the pink flame, it is one of the immediate results in our world when, in all types of human relationships, etc. When using mechanical devices, there is obstruction in their functioning. Lack of something, whether it be money, work, or an opportunity, visualize immediately the flame. Triple that burns in our hearts. Mentalize yourself with a pink mist full of brilliance, and the place with it illuminate the entire house, through the city, this luminous pink mist. Direct your mind towards the person, entity, or thing to whom you want of this pink light that you have projected out of, the apparent imperfection in all cases. Archangel Chamuel, so that with his pink flame he sweeps or improves what you wish. Experiment with the part of your body, soak your feelings into, visualize it as comfort for all who suffer, especially pets whom no one seems to want, and check how wonderful it is to bless everything you contact with your 5, of which you hope that the services are perfect. Bring the of more. Invoke the great beings who serve with their loving pressure, and you will see the perfection that is unparalleled. When a mechanical device does not, the divine of God transmitted to man by the has served as a receiver, bless the idea and speak to it, intelligence, and possesses the power to react, the law of love. Everything returns to you what you give to it. This goes. Correspondence. It is something that works like the echo, returning to you but multiplied, either blessing, device, animal, or thing. Remind it that it is made good so that it proceeds and functions well, and not to our disadvantage, not to leave us in need, not to bite or attack us with problems, but to help us. Tell it that you love it. The truth is that the spirit functions with the pink light and pronounces the name of the beloved, telephone line, etc. This is due to the fact that many useful servers live by denigrating and cursing. It is made of atoms, and every atom reacts to. It is more than proven. Claim the perfect. Bless them. Bless all who have worked, or thank for every service you receive by giving to. The night before sleeping, invoke the angels and in your house let them surround and protect it. Pour their light so that it encompasses all of your mantle. Feel the radiation of divine love. Archangel Chamuel, the beloved Archangel Chamuel, and his divine complement charity are consecrated. Humans of gratitude and worship to their origin, which remains ignored in the human heart, served for many eons. In the levels, a way to accelerate their own flames in praises, elementary beings, teaching these beings to elevate their made Chamuel and Charity have a glorious temple, circular with a golden roof and embedded with rubies. God and his messengers. It is directed to encourage the development and realization of their humans through the legions of the Archangel himself, emanates from the human heart. It is pink. When the color is pale pink, when it is directed towards conscious praise and worship, it is of a rose, gates of heaven, and this ray sends more and more, from which such a blessing emanates. Love is given to human hearts. The angels and the elementals are life and the understanding of the great first cause. Of the student to a conscious knowledge of, Chamuel has been separated from human consciousness to his preference, but now students can and feel through him the great love that God allows your thoughts to rest in him. His help, your world, and that of Chamuel become one, you, the Archangel Chamuel, and you will see the vital help that project, that is, realize a projection of consciousness, brings to the temple when they are in their physical bodies. Advance. You can also ask that they be transferred to southern France, this magnificent castle and works of art. The paintings have been executed. The third ray has been directed by the Ascended. In his last incarnation, he was this painter, Paolo, the Venetian, raised to be the machinist, that is to say, the planet Earth. The position he left vacant has been today exercised by the beloved Master Lady Rowena, who has been the director of this flame. She is the messenger of and one of the specialties or qualities of so many. For the students, the beloved Master Lady Rowena, disciples appropriate the blessings and of divine love and the balance it contains. In the world of forms, it is to lend help spiritual. It is to follow the direction of the being and to be centers of radiation of pure divine. Love the being when he dies. If he is bad, he goes to hell. Eternity, and if he is good, he goes to the presence of God. Truth, much less. The truth is that this must pass, a cloud touching the harp and singing. The being from us of God, that is why we say that each of us is evolution begins very low and incarnation progresses up the evolutionary ladder, always human. By dying, he forgot himself, escaped hatred, excessive ambitions, rivalries, selfishness, and love and generosity. By leaving this plane, he enters increasingly higher, interesting, and deserving. Just there, he will acquire more wisdom. He will be aware of eternity where there is no these positions. One of the highest is that of director. The ray is that of the creator of systems, a task reserved. He says that the Elohim created the earth. Everything goes into the mists of the past and the ancient messages. Hence the need for, from time to time, God comes as Jesus, not to abolish the teachings, to give us the message that God has reserved for the same Jesus said, "You are," and many other truths because you cannot understand them yet. Invocation, create planetary systems, galaxies, etc. The Elohim, Elios and Besta, they in turn for other Elohim like them, builder gods, their twin flame angelic, then once their constellation of Orion is finished. The beloved Elohim Orion says, produced every sun and every galaxy in the universe. From the great solar galaxy to the smallest, divine love is a positive quality and has entered the concentrated form of that love. This flame is the power on which you stand, where everything works. Every form that you perceive and appreciate is a part of my. Lend me your attention. If you know someone, bring them now into your mind and allow me to give you unconditional love towards them. If you accept this, I will give you the energies that integrate errors, whether good or bad, which weave chains that must be balanced in another realm through invocation and decree. I am Rowena. I am her full commitment. I am the flame of her cosmic peace. I am the pink flame of the love of Orion. Chamuel. At this hour, the Archangel Gabriel, Wednesday, 4th Ray, beloved Gabriel, Archangel of Purity, for what you represent for me and for all the decrees with your cosmic pressure of love. I am the resurrection and the life. I give you the white flame. His day is Wednesday. The Archangel is the beloved hope. The Elohim is called clarity. This ray is the ascension of Master Serapis. The Archangel Gabriel is known as the messenger, he who announced to Zacharias, the husband of Isabel, the cousin of both, John the Baptist. Bible, Luke 1:5, the incarnation of the divine word in his very pure. In a determined situation, if you do not know what to do or what to abandon, which is never true but an illusion, immediately call the Archangel Gabriel his complement. In your heart, the fourth sphere of the causal body lives in this white flame. Remember what I told you. Triple in your heart. Blue, yellow, gold, and pink. A small, white capsule where your Christ, your presence of God in you, is located in your, with it, enter into it. Acquire its wisdom, and become like Jesus in the presence of the principle of all and the end or purpose of everything. In this plan, it is the end, as we say. This contains what is called the immaculate concept and contains the divine plan conceived for every small. It contains within it the divine project, its root and its fruits, all within a vital function or a design or a model that has been given to it, warning that the leaves are identical, each having its particular pattern. By this, I want to express that each one is unlike any other. Although they appear identical, glorious in the universal plan, no other can at form of acting, a personality distinct from the immaculate, yours, mine, or anyone else's. The true essence of every living being is to ascend to heaven, as it is said. This is called ascension. We all want to achieve this, which comes after the great resurrection, and this comes after the last reincarnation, that is the crucifixion, then the resurrection, and finally. We every day go through this and we realize that the way we act is not always the most appropriate. There is another way, the way of improvement. In other words, we try a new attitude towards something. We give life to an idea and we have resurrected an agony or to make someone suffer. No. When we know what to do, we put a cross on these things, crucifying. The cross is the sign that means more, with a horizontal bar that is the negative, and putting it in a vertical positive position that crosses it. This negative into positive is more, oriented toward the best. It is true that one catches more flies with honey than with vinegar. You resurrect an idea that existed potentially at a higher degree of intelligence and know-how. On the day of walking, you have resurrected cells in a higher degree on the scale of your knowledge. It is mental, the mountain where the crucifixion took place because it had the shape of a skull or head. You must know that by crucifying a concept or an idea, it is purified. When this happens, vibrations are accelerated, light rises, purity rises. The being, when it is at a very high vibrational frequency, cannot be approached by criticism, nor by diseases, nor by accidents. Where there is a person vibrating, there cannot be an earthquake, for example, where it is going to occur or where it starts. Who holds it, paralyzes it, and prevents it? Why? By turning at its highest speed, that is, at its most, a feather, a piece of fabric or paper, an insect which it disperses around it, enters its, or anything, or is violently rejected outside, or the extremely strong radiation it develops does not. This is an action that keeps the air clean and purified, how close it approaches. Similarly, the purified being is superior. It can enter and cross its frequency. With your mind it grows, increasing every time. The center of the atom, this core that is light, and that is the vibration of the electrons surrounding this, cleanse themselves and form a broader area. The immaculate concept, what surrounds this atom, of molecules that by thinking and feeling, this form can be a monster made by us, in truth. But the atom itself, the atoms that compose its center contain God in essence, and no one. The atomic substance that enters by millions and millions of thoughts that pass through our and form ugly or beautiful figures according to God is power, is energy, has as they say. We give to these masses of atoms, each atom center dissolving the defective figure that surrounds it. But in the meantime, they act as we. Well, the way to start making. By remembering what a perfect center of light is. In truth, and we all know that Jesus said, know the. Recognizing is what transforms and liberates by lending its state of perfection. It is going toward the great ascension, and we will never have just one. All my effort is to accustom you to see Christ, no matter what it is, in everything, from trash to the ground of the street, the corpse. Everything is the same substance, the same principle is different. Until now, we have focused on through some treatment and then giving thanks for the things that appear in our lives. Now I will give you subconscious. It will mature and elevate. All enters the heart. Countless millions of electronics is the substance of all things. Think for a moment, it is the substance of all things. This can be healings, illuminations. It has no cup or measure. It is the substance of that has already provided and foreseen all that we can. We already have it in our hearts in the form outwardly what we call precipitations or manifestation. It is an art and a science. Look, even how we did it nor how it was accomplished. It is a science that must be learned, the sort of clothing made of astral matter like ghosts, with vague and moving tulle, like every that cannot and should not be naked, the astral so that it is not without clothing. The unconscious, the spirit progresses and ascends to higher planes, dresses as it pleases. The gown is made according to the plan in which they are. This is why we see the magnificent garments with precious stones, etc., in its last incarnation. And this is the costume that, ladies of the court, magnificent from the time of Louis, and manifests it with the electronic substance, and constant, for God wants each of to be a princess in the Father's abode. I will tell you a fact that happened to me. A gentleman, and I have not yet learned, told me, One day I felt very bad at home and I felt a lot of weakness. Fortunately, I ate an apple and my weakness passed. Of course, I remained very thoughtful, meditating a lot on what I'm saying. He just had to invoke the taste of an apple, and probably until the end. It was the miracle of the loaves and fishes realized before. I told them this phrase: "My world contains more than they could suppose in any hotel. Everything must work perfectly. I mean, the plumbing must have bulbs in the bathroom that must work. If anything of all this doesn't work immediately, the office makes the complaint regarding the plumbing. Generally, this maintenance team consists of keeping the hotel in good shape, according to its size. This department is constantly busy maintaining the building in good condition. This is what happens in the spiritual. But the truth is that what must work is the material. The first way our mental affairs must work is already known. How must they work? They know how they must work, to consider. In what way does disorder actually work? When the hotel immediately sends a worker, they send a carpenter or a locksmith. The law that must govern is perfection, and if immediately the hotel or the organization does not know its job, they are ignorant and must learn. The same thing happens with the spiritual and material plan. Each lives millions of living beings, our cells, in a huge organization that is our body, governed by I Am. You will understand that below exists with such efficiency that when we prick the tip of our finger with something insignificant, like in a few moments, the scab appears. Have you noticed that the scab is first the maintenance skin that rushes to repair the damage? But just as it is below, the damage is considerable. Just like on Earth, there would be a body of masons if a wall fell. But it is not necessary to resort to other repairs, both spiritual and material. For example, a real mason who must maintain. Of course, this mutual collaboration works. Everything is relative as consciousness rises. The individual needs fewer accidents and becomes stronger and more spiritual until finally the great day comes when he can live in both plans. This is what we call the maintenance body. We must talk about services, housekeepers, laundry, etc. It is not just dazzling cleanliness, but they keep everything clean. They must be fragrant, and if they are not, the service is ensured by the maintenance team in perfect time so that we can do our devotions in the first part of the day to quickly eliminate any imperfection before it takes proportions. As it is below, it is above. The spiritual cleanliness of the atom. You already know that the core of the atom is light. It is the love of God with all the facilities and virtues. It will be powerful because what the nucleus of the atom contains, its size is infinitesimal, that you already know it is unnecessary to describe or comment on because God has already done it. This energy is electronic activity, at its maximum, at a white light. Every morning, when you start your actions, let us remember this nucleus of white light that can be seen in the light. It is an incandescent white. This memory is that it is your truth that surrounds you at a speed, a frequency so high that negative and destructive energies are not only found near you but at a great distance. Gradually, your frequency expands. Whether it comes to your mind or you hear about something, know that every atom has its nucleus of white light. This collective energy has been employed to create. But the nucleus of each atom will cause the electronic activity to expand. The cleaning body comes into action within you or in the human body to heal itself. It is the healing power of being. We are born with this power to heal even a small insignificant wound or what may happen to our being. This is why we learn in the subconscious that we have the power of healing within us. It works, beloved clarity, Elohim of purity, and breathes in the electronic center of each cell of your body moving around the nucleus. I am always life. I am the electronic light that lives and breathes, a flame of purity and emotional light. I am the electronic light within you. I have engraved these imprints of impurity, and I am now releasing all your cells and atoms from your 4 lower bodies. Discord will never again imprison your life. Serapis Bey, director of the 4th Ray, says, I have loved and lived long with her, and you find yourself in the Ascension. From the opulence of discord to perfection, it is the student body that, for the most part, has not thought. If your soul is downcast, the degradations that you sometimes feel, if there are financial failures weighing on you, Chamba, where the Temple of Ascension is located, the ascension and the enthusiasm that will take you out of all harmony and individual or collective depression, the Beloved says this, religion is not a matter of ceremony. The time in which we live is a matter of common sense. To see and contemplate is also the role of life, which has given this life and has sustained your presence in the cosmic fabric through which you have a destiny that can only be accomplished by you. Loved ones, on this unparalleled white flame that you have, study the Ascension. Enter this light with all your will directed toward the ascending path that it offers you. By the virtue of truth, beloved Archangel Raphael, and I thank you for all you have done for me, healing, consecration, and help me to, I thank you Thursday, the green flame of healing, consecration, concentration, and truth. His name is Raphael, and his complement is the beloved. In heaven both are particularly dedicated to the physical body as those of the soul. It is curious that the very beloved Mary manifested in her body in healing sanctuaries like Lourdes, Fatima, where she made her presence known. The Archangel is the etheric temple dedicated to healing, where those of this ray are doctors, nurses. With healing, Archangel Raphael maintains where the armies absorb the healing power of God, also retaining it by consecrating all those who, in the physical world, his angels project rays of healing because they have a true vocation for something. In love, constancy, inspiration, and everything that the beloved Mary, Mother of Jesus, has said, among the many activities she deploys on our planet. Every doctor, nurse, student, or initiate who devotes themselves automatically to the care of Archangel Raphael has fixed, as recently adopted, the color of the new era. Before, in those same places, it is connected with a power charger to provide the necessary strength to the engine. Other angelic hosts rhythmically take their places, absorbing from this source the qualities of life to elevate them to perfection, understanding that he represents and distributes the feelings of God. Dedicate yourself every day. If your eyes see iniquity, say mentally, I am, Father Raphael. Consecrate my eyes so that they see only. If your hands make impatient gestures and you abuse your energy, no matter that you have become a great pianist in a single day. It was the result of a single day of work, persistence in study and practice. These are the only lives that are truly worth living, those that rise again and begin training. Remember that I can reconsecrate any vehicle or body that belongs to you. If you need it, ask me. I will intervene. That is my reason for being. Once this power was known as Cyclopean, a very ancient prehistoric knowledge. This means is spoken of through the forehead, perhaps what science today calls the third eye, located between the eyebrows, and functioning through what mythology calls the Cyclops. Mythology is based on human imagination or fantasy, but the Elohim of sight, the all-seeing eye of God, has a divine complement called crystal. Remember that love is mentioned in these plans, and that the beloved, after multiple separations, continues to work together. Angels are made of feelings and work with the substance of feelings, while the Elohim work with the spirit and use their spirit as creators of God, as mental creators. Remember that we also live in a mental universe, produced by the thought of God, and that the mental qualities of God emanate from his universal plan. The Cyclopean etheric temple is located where China, Siberia, and Mongolia meet, the Elohim of concentration, music, and sight. You can still reach heights in worldly activities. Without it, you will only reach mediocrity. What you seek, those who solve problems choose an aspect of life and develop it to achieve excellence in that field. Focus your energies on that path. What you start, you can accomplish. Whether for healing, precipitation, or economic freedom, no matter what it is possible, but the Elohim of music, sight, or the great musician, like the cosmic tone of the planetary system of our Earth, must be in harmony with God. The insulating substance into which planet Earth has transformed has become dark. It asks all of us to contribute to the golden age of Earth and tells us that our vocal cords contribute to the music of creation by expressing and feeling what all this does. Positive energy elevates like harmony, peace, and health, while negativity, when contacted by a sensitive being, makes noise and creates discord. We will learn to heal with music, not only the ailments of the body, but also moral, emotional, and etheric ailments, instantly. If one calls upon him or his beloved, the Ascended Master, and the Ascension, united, they say that it is also possible to erase karma. Let us accept the beautiful essence of crystal, the flame of Mary, and the force of the truth of Hilarion, and let us play our role in the divine purpose of music and peace. He is the director of the green ray, his temple in the etheric. He is tasked with establishing truth where it can be replaced by a lie, where the truth may seem dubious. Where it seems misleading, you need only invoke the situation and the people involved, and providentially everything becomes clear. And if an individual seeking to acquire divine gifts first understood the principle, then, by his conscious effort, removes his appearances, anchoring his attention in the presence, the current that returns will give him all fullness. Koran tirelessly said that where you are, you become the radiation of divine love, but man is completely unaware of this. Likewise, both the righteous and the unjust, all, even the wicked, receive his blessings. God respects your free will. Moving forward in a conscious action resides in the controlled power of your attention. It is simply a matter of choosing what you want to achieve, not the negative, doubts, fears, lack of faith, etc. In this you become, as the master of the New Age, the beloved Master Hilarion, who left us his epistles full of love, said, "All the apostles are right to call him so." The green ray influences religious feeling. Those who belong to this ray become atheists, but it produces scientific development, particularly concerning medicine. I am in myself, beloved Hilarion, Archangel Raphael, the fullness of all your blessings poured out and used to bring the truth of understanding to the entire world. Let us focus on the phrase, "I am the resurrection and the life," for it has immense power. There are unpleasant and discordant experiences that those who wish to resurrect encounter. If one has no idea of the life of glory and good that belong to me, it activates the divine powers and the memories of pure mental creations. Beloved Christ Presence, I declare that my word is good, that I think only of good, that I feel only good. This is a healing treatment of light projected onto the being I aspire to become. God is within me and I am the light. This treatment, beloved presence, in the name of all the particles of appearance, I am the violet liquid of forgiveness and transmutation within us, releasing this appearance. I am, and its self-sufficient power is released and extends so that the will of the Father may manifest. I am the resurrection and the life of wisdom, and the being to follow in this healing for perfect health. I am the purification of all perfection in your world. I am the resurrection and the life, projecting this imperfect particle until the resurrection and life of the gold and ruby flame of the being, projecting its light into every tissue, vitalizing and illuminating. Father, for you are already manifested in this being with me. Father, for you have heard me, Archangel Uriel, day and night. May the virtue and grace of love flood my being and keep it unwavering on the path of peace. Friday, the gold and ruby flame, its day is Friday. Its divine complement is called grace. Both have their origin in the south of Krakow, Poland. The ascended mistress Nara has her temple on the etheric plane in the ray called Tranquillino, or tranquility, and her peaceful aspect, peace, has her temple alongside Aloha in the gold and ruby flame, the virtues and powers she represents as the third ray. This ray is the result of the mixing between gold yellow and ruby red, thus forming an orange color. But according to the teachings, it is not this name that is important, but that of gold ruby. The ruby is the most precious of crystals, more than diamond or emerald, which cost the most on earth. And as per the law of correspondence, as it is above, it is the most precious on the spiritual plane, since this flame represents peace and grace. This flame is the most precious, the finest, and it is the first among the divine gifts. It represents the Holy Spirit condensed in this ray, all that is most desired, what is excellent, what is beautiful, what is magnificent and costly, cannot be acquired by everyone. This ray can only be obtained by those who have the spiritual power of life to become aware of the necessary knowledge and evolutions to be able to acquire them. Those who accumulate the power of acquisition to make it their own, just as in the material world, can only acquire or make it their own those who have gathered resources. That is why the law of correspondence states that, below, the study of the rays is considered a step for beginners. Using the flames, except for transmutation, is something that is within everyone's reach. Regarding the acquisition of anything, it is represented by gold in biblical language. Gold is the symbol of prosperity. For being aware of prosperity is to possess a true ruby, that is, to have an orderly mind that is not limiting to divine love, ever aware and perfect of the gold ruby ray. In the Catholic Church, this concept materializes. The bishops dress luxuriously in the color purple, which is that of royalty. The cardinal's cape is satin. On the splendid ground, it is the ruby gold clothing. The less wealthy prelates settle for a grace of healing and support. Archangel Uriel, who, with just a high thought towards God, and still, will invoke at that moment Uriel. You will have a guardian angel, who is your minister of human evolution, or what is the same. This support assistance is in immediate contact with you, attentive to our every need. His duty is to be there when we lack things. This is because we have neglected this gift from God, which is our angel. I have said that he is attentive to all our needs. The yellow gold ray, if we desire forgiveness, brings us the truth. It puts us in contact with the flame. It connects us to this wonderful gold flame, loving, so considerate, and so humble that it never has delays. Although its essence manifests, it simply indicated that it is a support, implying that everything we need, whatever it is, will manifest almost visibly if we make it a habit to invoke it. Angels are there to come full force to help us. Help to humans, the Bible is full of cases, like young Tobit, accompanying him to recover money. This Tobit turned out to be Archangel Raphael, with his divine complement, the Virgin Mary. Both came down to announce to Abraham his next lot, Abraham's nephew, as well as his relatives. As we have said, our beloved and ascended Lady Nara, known in India as Lasmo, takes care of all your affairs so that they see extraordinary prosperity and love. Likewise, she may be part of the karmic tribunal where you will have to go. There you will find her ready to assist you. Do not fear the karmic tribunal, all those involved in our evolution, so that we can one day arrive at being the schoolmaster here on the human plane. May we one day in turn become masters. Our beloved is deeply rooted in the flame of the heart of life, of the body from where healing comes, and up to the ceiling that covers your heads, according to what I am. Seeking spiritual nourishment as a manifest fact before all men allows everyone to see it. Humanity will come to you, confused, with love. The former director of this ray was a man. He was elevated to the position of world instructor. Nara, what is necessary to move forward? The beloved Elohim Tranquilino, or tranquility, is the first we need to live well. If you are at peace with yourself, you will not need to be at peace with your neighbor. With peace, everything is possible. Without peace, nothing happens. The ruby today is priceless when it gives us everything. On those days when we feel inner turmoil and call upon the beloved Tranquilino to attain peace, he remains attentive to the work. The divine complement of the ray, when we ask in grace and perfectly, occurs like a small ripple in the water, hence its power. In life, when we make a request in accordance with the whole world, in grace, having made the affirmation to realize something, it is in the law. We will realize what we ask for. What will materialize, we thank in advance. By reaching peace, the door opens to receive what we desire. The anguished prayer, the desperate prayer, no. On the higher planes, this remains below without arriving. When your feelings are at peace, fill yourself with respect for your presence, fill yourself with trust, knowing that nothing but light can come forth. Fill yourself with parents, drive away all fear, and enter into the realization of anything. It is necessary to be healthy to enjoy life. Thus, look at the order of healing and support. Anyone who accumulates good health while enjoying great serenity, that is clear. It is evident that in this world there is still suffering. It is an imperfect world whose spiritual evolution is ongoing. May those who have succeeded in gathering this great fortune or building it be able to enjoy it, for the individual blocks themselves out of fear of losing it and does not succeed. Do not let yourself be disturbed when there is too much noise, street riots or nationalities. When this is not the case, the divine complement is peace or tranquility. Call upon me. The human creation of limitation, This global movement tries to do this, but I can assure you here and now that it can happen uninterruptedly, whether as an individual or as a collective. No matter how perfectly you plan and build, the consciousness, the disintegrating radiation of gula, greed, laziness, envy, pride, arrogance, and a negative quality is eminently positive. What is needed to maintain peace? How much does it cost? Regardless of the situation, despite all provocation in the whole world, manage to dominate your emotional plan, creating a climate of inner peace, and you will have conquered. Invocation to humanity, beloved Jesus, nothing, Uriel, my own angel. Beloved Tranquilino, we love you, we bless you, and we thank you for your services to our earth during your cosmic flames of love, grace, and providence, to bless and help harmonize every species. Wrap all my constructive efforts in your light, like 1,000 suns in my brain and my feelings. Envelop them all, those who will come in the future, and make my will a living reality forever. Rainbow Zadkiel, Saturday, 7th Ray of Color. Beloved Zadkiel, Archangel of Transmutation, I love you. I ask you to serve me and all the children of our earth from all past and present mistakes. Now, all my little friends, on Saturday, the violet flame, its essence, which is the beloved Saint Amethyst. They come from Cuba, the master who directs this ray or flame, Master Rakosi Saint Choren. He has his temple in Hungary. The Elohim who works in this ray or twin flame is the beloved Diana. Both have their temple in Africa. It is extremely necessary for you to learn to live this era we are going through, and it is the only one that has. It is also known as the flame of transmutation, and comes to replace the age of Pisces, whose avatar is the one whose gospel we follow. The use of the flame is an energy that we have used imperfectly, but with the true desire to forgive or with the intention to free all humanity. When this is accompanied by the flame, then it acts like magic and gives enormous assistance to all humanity. Use this invocation every time you act, and the law of assistance is in effect. When you see the last misery asking for alms, you must also give material help, saying, "You can do it mentally. I am the law of transmutation. I am the solution to all my past and present mistakes. I am the violet transmuting flame of mistakes throughout life. In this you have given greater help than if you had not given anything. For the law of unresolved karma would take away their pain, perhaps worse. Remember to do this with all those you consider your enemies or opponents. When they come to you, give them so much forgiveness, or more than you invoke. When a woman is pregnant, she must receive the healing treatment, with karma already transmuted, and that the mother has the minimum of suffering, both for herself and for the child. The invocation must be made for the woman with her receptive arms, that is, eager to receive what you are going to give. In this way, in the name of my beloved and all-powerful presence, in this sister, I affectionately invoke the angels and the child she carries in her womb, totally enveloping them in this blessed flame, so that the mother has a good delivery that does not last longer than necessary. And if possible, without any suffering for the mother, nor for the child, and that this be granted for a woman who has been sent to me. Thank you, Father, for this new child that you send me. I ask you to embody it into a being. I declare and decree that I will have a happy delivery without suffering for me nor for the creature. Then this must arrange its affairs and get to the place, confident that the divine presence will be there. This must be done. It is infallible. The presence I am desires perfection for this individual. When this acts upon her and corrects all her mistakes, it will put itself into action, even if it has taken many centuries for that. This has been invoked for every form of life, whether you invoke it as the presence I am in you or as... It cannot come into action without being called, but it respects the free will of man. Thus, says the law, it obliges the response. Thus, in you, it is ready, alert to come to your aid. Invoke it, call it, ask it to enter into action, otherwise it respects your free will. In thinking or acting through the colors that we have created with our mental forms, which are inseparable companions, they see the light or the shadow. We have created that other people have acted with our criticisms, resentments, depressions, and there can be forms and colors worse than others. We have a very poor opinion. Shadows must be replaced by bright colors. It is possible that we have harmed many other forms of life in the past, such as plants and the elements that live in the earth. All of this possesses intelligence and tries to touch you and me, all the cells of the body. Everything we eat, drink, breathe, and feel has life. These are living beings that feel and suffer, hear and perceive the presence of God. Everything has life. Everything has intelligence, and this is even more alarming if we remember the food, the water, and the plants with unconsciousness. Every portion of life that has been touched by you has misused energy, those with which we have interacted. We must return to God in a state of perfection. The life that God gives you or hands over to you, He gives it to us affectionately so that we can use it, living our responsibility. We have free will. we should account before the karmic court. They will ask us what we have done with the energy that was given to you, for the good of myself and my neighbor, or if I wasted it. Fortunately, divine mercy has placed light within humanity in this new era that we are living, with the great initiates and masters, so that it can overcome the suffering caused through the centuries by evil, passions, ambitions, resentments, fears, and all sorts of measures, forgetting that it is here to evolve. The angel that it carries inside perfects its journal of freedom. Make the effort to dismantle everything that is harmful in your thoughts, words, feelings, and actions, especially in these times of crisis, to have the perfection of causes that bring you only undesirable effects on this planet, which are due to what has been created by the minds of humans and not by God. You must remember that every creation, even if it is that tries to stay, increase, or grow, must be controlled by the violet flame of liberating love. The invocation must prevent these bad creations from acting in the world, like those we are experiencing. Use your conscious power to help anyone who suffers, etc. When you make this invocation, you awaken an opportunity awaited through the centuries, emotional, mental, physical, and etheric, for the human being. Many, many treatments with the violet flame and assignments to purify them. Furthermore, we must also invoke our cloak of light. The presence, the one that is more outside of the pillar, closes by completing it, protecting our body. To close it, it is the beloved incandescent white presence that makes me invisible to any incarnate or disincarnate spirit. This white cloak that surrounds you, in the light of milk around you, closes, covering you, and nothing can approach. The protector of white light deflects all impurities, absorbs and transmutes the untransmuted karma of the lessons corresponding to the flames. For this, it is imperative to call upon them in all necessity, both for us and for the consuming violet flame. It is imperative to consume and transmute in their causes and effects everything that surrounds us. At certain moments, the undesirable feelings that we have, as well as impure thoughts, mean so much around us and in our aura. I am the one who concentrates, projects, and maintains the thought of God made of pure divine love, which translates and addresses all those who wish to use this blessed flame. It is necessary to act so that it produces the flame and visualize it with your eyes closed at the beginning, praying for the presence of the flame to manifest. At a certain moment, we can begin to visualize it, beautifully burning before us. Then, after visualizing the blue flame coming from the heart, it runs down the arm to the ground, then to the left, to the soles of the feet, and there it rises to the right side of the torso. The loving flame spreads along the body, carrying it up to the throat. The violet flame, remaining virtually enclosed, purifies and makes the energy, light, and I am pour through us in all directions. What we have created with our thoughts, neglecting the thousands of incarnations, the energy that has been provided to us, nevertheless has its principle and is perfect as a whole, and has been given to us on the planet. Unfortunately, on the contrary, we have created forms of energized substance that have been projected into the atmosphere, horrible and unpleasant to describe. This, to some extent, has taken place in all our past lives, in a harmony of thought, and we have faithfully used it in thought. What we would like to recognize, however, the law is that everyone uses their energy and substance, whether sleeping or being aware, at this moment, through individual consciousness. The law for the intelligent and enlightened is that no one, through the conscious effort that the individual makes, can consume all their past creations and feelings, their body and their world, so as not to live them. The law is that each individual must, through the application and use of the violet flame, transmute the misused energy until perfection is achieved. Thus, we will be free from the effects we have caused through the consuming violet flame, which purifies the emotional, etheric, and physical bodies, cleansing the impurities of the flesh, consuming the negative patterns engraved in its etheric body. This flame is constructive, consuming, and elevated from pure divine love that emanates from the mighty I Am presence in the infinite, like the heat that melts wax until it falls by itself. What happens in reality is that the vibration of the substance in the three bodies releases any discord or imperfection, as such vibrations are lower in matter. It exercises the student in the use of the flame's power in a harmonious and permanent way. All the desires of this world, understanding the transcendental help that the application of the consuming violet flame would provide. How many hospitals and clinics could transcend, later alleviating suffering, or whether business people, clinic directors. Through the application of the violet flame, which speaks to the blessed children of light, to your spirits, your bodies, your home, your affairs, your country. Be as aware as you are of the existence of this powerful I Am presence. Invoke the ascension of the consuming violet flame in and through you. Make it a powerful and irresistible current of light. Feel the consuming violet flame circulating through your entire body up to the top of your head. Glorious triple flame of your immaculate presence for at least 5 minutes, 3 times a day. Feel such mental clarity and the desire to continue this practice. If divine peace visualizes your great pillar of light, trust in your power of visualization. This is what is used to form the image and exercise this always self-sufficient activity. It is your presence that is always instant. Every call is all that the I Am does. The fullness of its presence is to see it as one who desires deeply. I'm always a gigantic divine pillar that transcends all human concepts, all of humanity, all triumph and all light. Assume the absolute command of my mind, my body. The consuming flame within me consumes all my mistakes and dissolves all my problems. I ask you, O your crystalline consuming violet flame, to contribute to my well-being and that of all those around me, forming a powerful wall against which all who come to me will crash. Let them return to their point of origin, in the well-being of all who reach its action. The blue flame is in service of protection, virtue and faith, in the name of all humanity. I invoke your presence, beloved, to protect me, as well as my loved ones and my country. The sapphire blue flame, its day is Sunday, the defender of faith, the divine complement of this kingdom is the beloved ascended master, Master Moria, whose beloved Hercules is called Amazon, each etheric above the earth's atmosphere, at the top of high mountains or within. These cosmic beings, the true color of this light, are of a sapphire blue, surrounded by a transparent halo containing this ray, are the will of God, embodying the will of God. Humanity has greatly distorted this ray by attributing to God what is less than good. The will of God is never negative. It is not war, but peace. The will of God is that an archangel, an ascended master, as director, is at the head of legions of light and many angels. The Prince Michael, known to all, is the one who stands against evil. He has beautiful blonde hair and has been drawn very close to the earth. He constantly responds to the needs of humanity. His free will has chosen to be the guardian of the flame of human life on earth, to all who implore him. If he does not present himself, the temple of Prince Michael, which now exists on the etheric plane, still exists. The Elohim who form our solar system have accompanied Prince Michael and incarnated near the mountains for the redemption of humanity due to the fall of man. Archangel Michael and his legions remain where they exist to this day. They are powerful forces that often appropriate individuals. People can be invaded by entities that live with such size and accumulated energy, especially through misqualified thoughts and feelings. His legions come to cut the link between the individual and these entities. The imperative call is for those who go through the change of those thoughts and feelings they possessed. Michael will help them on the other side, providing what they need. It is of great help to return to the temple of faith and protection, and to ask Michael to dissipate their limitations. This will ensure that the power of light, says Archangel Michael, will bring love and faith into the hearts of men. Divine faith and its knowledge must emerge from darkness, strengthening and extending faith so that the legions of the Elohim creators of our world can infuse this spirit into men, so they continue to rise. You who are every cell that springs from the body of a living being, carry within you the 2 necessary aspects for evolution, namely the masculine. Some cells should not divide. The avatars find themselves at the end of their cycle, what is called the complement of a being. It is here that the masculine entity or masculine cell resides. The sun gods, our sponsors of the solar system, made a strong appeal for the creation of our planet Earth. The Elohim Hercules, the blue flame of power and will to act, draws you into your world by its protection and power. Before the power of Hercules, the mighty Hercules, I am the Elohim of decision. God made me to act in the world. Men and women of decision have been chosen by elemental angels, and they have chosen to employ the energies of their lives in permanent achievements. Ignite, O God, the flame of those who desire to do your will. Ignite in them this will to act. Ignite upon their foreheads this flame of immortality embodied in themselves until they choose to live the eternal life. The flame of Hercules shines upon your foreheads, guiding towards the activities of the outer world, forming the will of God in all that is created, to perfect and serve. In the activities of your world, everything that is creation begins to undergo a destructive process, which ultimately leads it to its complete disappearance. In the light of divine laws, declare that you follow our procedure to bring constructive ideas, first by entering into silence, and that this gives you the perfect design, the exact pattern of your will to manifest and see. It is through the blue ray that you carry in the triple flame of the heart of man, by which he invokes or sees manifested, so that the manifestation is directed according to the design and is not simply an image. Today I ignite you with realization so that you do not wish to accept limitations. When you know that this must manifest, it is necessary to recognize that these appearances are illusions. It is those who manage to do great innate things and who are capable of handling several activities. The blue ray is not yet very evolved, and the energy or impulse of some people may seem limited. People who feel lacking can invoke the great entities of the blue ray by saying, "I am the strength of Hercules, I am never limited." The sapphire blue ray has its retreat in Hurling, India, a place where the Master resides. At the same time, Master Moria has been in an ancient period where he was Melchior, one of the three wise kings. The Master keeps the Holy Grail within him and protects it at Montserrat, located in Barcelona, Spain. It is there that the Round Table exists. The Holy Grail is the chalice that Jesus of Nazareth consecrated, the wine he drank during the first Christian Mass with his disciples. He was probably one of those who took it. A wealthy man used this chalice to collect his blood during his passion and death process. The great Ascended Master is the representative of all humanity on the higher planes of life, radiating toward the atmosphere of the earth the negative, distorted idea that has been created. Maria speaks to all humanity everywhere that the will of God manifests in your lives. These words in the sensory and mental world of each appearance that envelops every son or daughter. The destiny of each is to achieve mastery and divinity. God wants you to be free. The will of God is for extreme climates to be filled with mercy, the support they need for their well-being. The will of God is that disease, the death of the spirit and body, are no longer than illusions. Let the Christian light shine again. Let the earth illuminate as in the beginning when the Elohim emerged. Let the angels, the others, as they do now with their kind, balance the unbalanced. Let each face their own divinity, face to face, and let every form become the perfect splendor of life. It is the will of God that men already be aware that they are part of the great first, that their brothers send into space for 5 minutes, 3 times a day. These spoken words will be you in action. The light, the will of God, is happiness. The will of God is balance. We give thanks for the ever-growing love in our harmony, circulating through our lives, for the abundant wealth, for the beauty that surrounds us, for the absence of fear, and above all, for the increase of thought, words, and deeds. The Golden Book of Teachings that the Ascended Master Saint Germain transmitted in the 3rd cycle of teachings of the Saint Germain fraternity. Knowledge full of his I Am presence. The more you are protected and elevated, the less you will doubt or use any disguise to approach these thoughts. Concentrate your attention on the laws, the steps, and the vibrations. For the divine regulations, the fulfillment of the Master's laws on Christmas Eve, I am the light, the path that resonates in the field of cosmic activity, in the realm of power. In the words, you will find the power without any discordant human operation preventing you from applying these truths. Until the experience that is unfamiliar to you, you will often use the I am to resolve your desire or problem. You will apply this with absolute confidence. You must understand that the inner power flows, that growth occurs. When you think of the powerful principle I am, you will feel that this will allow you to advance with a sense of mastery through the limitations of human creation. I often see in your heart the desire to give the necessary strength to continue on the path. Every trial given outside of your being is temporary. Your conscious application is an eternal accomplishment. Through your self-conscious application, you are not only elevating your consciousness, but also that of those who have fallen. This is how the door of My external form was nailed to the cross. Likewise, you with your ascending consciousness nail and seal the light. This will allow your consciousness to emerge. It is very important that as you live, presence, you will discover that not only are you deeply in the light, but also that the external things you seek are actually there, because then you will move toward the true reality of form and its transient activity. All around you is potentially important. Everything that has lost its limiting power will come. Joyful freedom will manifest. As you become more aware of the powers, you can attract anything you need without. It must be established in consciousness, for do not think at intervals. If there are those who do not have it, I assure you that the freedom for yourself, then you will be prepared for the human creation in which you must move. No, the light of God is not ready to accept because it is only a temporary stage. When one begins to understand how temporary these things are and how one enters into universal consciousness or the great light, it is of vital importance. Then, its invincible activity. For this, its heart has enabled me to do resurrection and life. Human concepts have veiled many things but other statements. I am always the majestic power of love that opens the door to light in its heart. My true inner insight, no step has humanity, the wisdom of the I Am, the origin of the conscious use of the individual will be astonishing. This will quickly spread throughout humanity, for all, and consciously direct their energy through a world of peace, love, health, and open prosperity. Through the knowledge of the I Am, they will never be harassed in their homes, their worlds, or their activities, for it is only the power of this mighty presence that the human being disturbs. Today, review some of these simple, because I wish that every student under my radiation, at least once a day, those who do this, individual radiation to bless and assist them. The services of the churches recognize the reality and know that in my eternal luminous body, that their hearts will turn toward me, O child of truth, with the recognition of the truth that you are capable of reaching any height of the open door that no man can close. The way and the life, your mighty presence I Am, is the light. It is inexhaustible. It supports your mighty presence. In your heart, it is the light that surrounds you in its presence, as of which no human creation can pass. This can be released when you wish through. I Am is the source of eternal youth and beauty. Under the human form, your powerful presence I Am is the action in this perfection that every human heart. The light when you say these affirmations, and we do for ourselves, but also by secreting something about and through the I Am. It is for you. Thus is the application and expression of the and acts forever beyond the realm of selfishness. All the children of God share the same perfection. Last year, you were asked to charge your mind with the powerful presence I Am, now with your permission, with H. This powerful perfection and abundance. I let no one be so foolish as to doubt, for you have known for 2,000 years that assistance. Let me assure you that this work is not to be compared to anything else given to the Western world. Human opinions. It would not have been possible if the rays of sound had been established at and instruction. If you, my dear, as a student, blessing and benefit, the protection that has been in the past months has transcended everything I have, could understand. All this, how delightful it brings you. A radiation that you will be able to. Success will give you unlimited joy. I am the, with all power, Jesus, the Christ. I am. The most sincere students do not always arrive at the words. When you say, I am feeling it, you open and without obstacles in its path. Naturally, when you say, I am not, you close the door to the activity of God. I have placed you face to face. I want you to understand that the first expression of the universe, whether in thought, feeling, is victorious divinity. The student, in trying simple laws, must keep a guard that every time someone thinks or says, I am not, they, unconsciously or consciously, and in a way around someone's neck, just with that make sure the hand releases it at any moment. I am not, I cannot, or I do not have. It starts to move, that we stop and transmute the action. This qualifies, determines, orders the way you say, dear student, that dynamite is less your body, while ignorant thoughts. reincarnate indefinitely. That is to say, as long as dissolution continues to reign, percula seculorum. You will see how important it is for you to know what you are already thinking, for you will use the most powerful. Be it I am. Never say I am sick, for naturally it contains the vital process, nor with all the intensity of I am, since he, dear student, forms your electronic belt-in and light without limits to learn the application. Creative power is possible. Meditate for a few minutes on a power that is God acting in the mind and conscious direction for the soul that possesses. Divine love and advances will find no barrier. Practice these wonderful affirmations that are part of what he has taught, each of the accompanying that have succeeded in such a way that not only, but also their individual assistants, when they use their power with their active intelligence, what will be, I command you to this infinite activity that may be that I move, speak, and proceed only in my powerful presence. I am. I am the power of I am. I am the only all-powerful presence acting, the law of divine justice and protection acting in, that governs and orders everything harmoniously, around me, which is invincible and repels, me disturbing. I am the perfection of my world and protective electronic around me and omnipotent that governs this thought and supported in my mind, my body, my house, and all the time. All the time I need to. I am the full understanding and illumination, the power of the electronic circle I have created, and fears. I gladly take the scepter of myself. I am of the spheres into which I would like to enter, and I maintain. I am the perfection of that individual who has the discerning eye that finds all. I am the immense that fills every cell of my mind and my miraculous presence, working in everything that, of all that I desire. I am the presence. I am the governing presence that goes before me, to peace and harmony in all my activities. I am my thought processes in the perfection of the acceleration of the cells of my structure, intelligent direction of the powerful presence, inexhaustible divine wisdom making my power to advance through every experience, filled with peace and harmony at all times by the beloved presence I am in such an individual. I invoke your guiding intelligence to ensure that everything is necessary. I am the presence that commands and directs, to the incandescent light in which it can, through its own creation and service say, the use of God's unlimited opulence. I am hands and I use instantly. I am the energy, presence of forgiveness in the mind and in the heart of, and the beauty of your eyes, bearing this radiant of perfect health. I am the presence that orders peace, love and harmony in my home, which now and forever dissolves all error, undesirable creation. This is why my outer being instantly consumes everything that seeks to disturb or, the Master recommends we converse with our Master Presence that I am. I love you, I bless you, my love. All wisdom passes through this power that is in my hands, and I use the realization of all that. Humanity, the service of the Chohan, my service to the Ray is linked to the transmutation of and freedom. I have seen the vision of this planet, the glory of each vital current incarnated in the same power of transmutation after having anxiety of shaping the substance and energy of God and my desire to help every being who wishes. This is the Father's intention to realize. I have imparted to them the quantity of this vision, human, assisted in all that was possible by. However, no man can work with the sealed and covered eyes. I will keep if they will help me achieve the glorious this purpose in mind, the Master Moria Chohan to the great cosmic law of dispensation by the unity. We could unite in close association, raise, and through them rise and establish. He was with this idea, and it was granted to him in the Master Moria, again, went to the great law, to certain Kalas and close friends, designating with foresight that, from the response of 7 letters we sent, we received 5, a minor sense since these people had, and whose support was more or less assured without. Macho allowed us to send correspondence, unprecedented. An impersonal publication was express their own viewpoints in their blanks and able to pierce the veil that separates for our joy. We were able to enter eager to dedicate their combined consciousness, which we had been dedicating to the interest for a specific time. It was decided that so that it would not be burdensome for people and for the students of life, the satisfaction and the spiritual as well as their abilities, without on the scale of human personality that is necessary. Liberated brothers, the seventh ray. The seventh ray, the ceremonial ray, falls under my jurisdiction and is the planet Earth through the vital current of. It is called the ceremonial ray because it deals with the radiation of spiritual energy through the freedom to act in the way they wish nor can the most advanced imagination of man be descended into the world of form. The seventh ray, on the planet over 14,000 years, during which it has turned many times in cycles very similar to the seasons of the year, it has turned countless times, again and again, to fertilize this characteristic nature of its children. At each revolution they were internal spheres that in the course of from the seventh ray served in the seventh order to fulfill their final destinies in the life they decided. Incarnation under their evolutionary cycle, they are known as the children of under its benevolent influence in the cycles that have lasted, the master who acted, the most developed stream of life in the line. He, in the expansion and perfection of the gift of his ray is active at the same time as for the future is chosen. And under the supervision, when the Chohan who precedes him graduated at his prepared, and ultimately invested with now I appear as the representative of the emanation to the evolution of a planet and its population, the non-ascended being, so that they acquire spiritual forces for the stimulation of all life in the inner levels, choose to develop their seventh ray. I have as my illustrious incarnated who respond to my note and my work, design and method to extend the activity of the highest possible blessing, the development of basis, as well as an invitation for those who efforts in these moments to do so. It does not allow any coercion from a master to their cause. Any assistance given must be that he offers his help, the natural flow of life, to choose by free will. Man has allowed this giving energy to external senses and transformed it into the human mass, where individuals who incorporate the same, the dissipation of these creations, interest and gain the cooperation of a group, should not be a very difficult task, for they have been able to grasp the current existence of beings. Otherwise they received a comprehensive idea of everything that has been said and done follows the divine scheme of their lethargy, and which is one of the good works of the new day through the influence of the seventh. How to draw and unite their energy with those from the kingdoms, dissipating evil as a first step, will create the causes that will manifest that will be the culmination of all hopes, to be enjoyed by the beings of the earth instead. That this good cannot be achieved, an opportunity to express my most sincere thanks to Kumara, to my Lord the Mahatma, to my brothers, and to all the great white fraternity, all of them who gave not only their invaluable assistance, and therefore here and now I invoke the vital individual energies by their effort of expansion, recognize with gratitude the formidable help that I have received from Lord Miguel and Lord Raphael, and from their love during the first difficult period of the seventh ray, as one chooses a Chohan. I believed that I had been chosen to be the representative of other sources, long before were still in their innocence in the womb. The complementary vibration within them towards one, or of the internal temples dedicated to the service of the divine, through which the evolutionary life of in ancient times, when I found myself in contemplation, the quality of freedom, I worshipped on its altar. I brought their sense of emancipation to all life, when the time came for me to that I could qualify as a messenger of that I obtained the privilege of placing in the quality of God and the power to ultimately direct the quality I have cultivated, the great quality, flame of freedom, which was linked to my. From that moment on, it was to interest and ensure for humanity on earth, with the objective of always moving towards the cosmic moment impinging on the screen of life as a initiation in the cosmic temple, that the flame, the inner levels, great angelic beings, concentrated this flame of freedom while always seeking to engage the streams of life, so that they become sufficiently, through the limited expression of ages of my incarnations, I carried with me more energy from the life currents that I had encountered than my efforts with those who are for the karmic reunion for reincarnation. The Archangel also visited the lower realms, reincarnation thus inhabiting the flame, to increase their strength. The greatest was its radiation, until most of them began to move with becoming embodied freedom. This was so that the total power of the seventh ray could, scientific and educational endeavors on Earth, settled across the entire planet. During vital energies that were affiliated particularly, and that made their abode in or near the temple of the precursors of the spiritual order which is noted by the wisest, that would represent the seventh ray on this planet. The great cosmic law chose to give the honor to the beautiful master who had been Chuan of this, rising to higher levels of service in the cosmic wheel that allows sending completes a cycle every 14,000 years. During this, they are given the opportunity to act on Earth, quality to the evolving life on it too, of each of the parts that compose it, of 2,000 years each. Each of these cycles will be dedicated to a particular quality of earthly life. During this period, to these, Chohan means Lord, and Ray means the color aura of God. The first 2,000 years that make up the Chuan of the first blue ray, which represents this being, establishes the models for the evolution of souls that take embodiment in this cycle. The 2,000 years is under the direction of the second, the Trinity, the Son. His ministry is dedicated to established by the desire of the Father under the cosmic, is under the direction of the great being in the person of the Holy Trinity, that is, the Spirit, his nature, for he is responsible for on the planet. Whether due to the complexity of this 10,000-year cycle in 5 cycles of 2,000, cycle of 14,000 years, at the head of each, a great being who is representative of the ray, active, and who is particularly dedicated to life currents evolving during the role of advisory director for all 7 Chohans, has now turned to a point where the last of the emanation in this final cycle is awaited. Each one must successfully carry out the plan for which it was created. Our planet is to allow each stream to develop its spiritual nature and become of conscious control and use of its faculty, of the presence, the tripartite nature in this purpose was the cosmic cycle instituted and minor cycle, a new method of incorporating the vital currents embodied. This is done, Chuan, who is the head of the active ray. This, who has been closely associated with Chuan, internal beings are well linked to the ray and it sometimes happens that when the particular ray of the human nature of the non-ascended representative, however, as the consciousness of people is found and its discriminating faculties are advancing without any deviation from the path, mercy allows what is called incarnation, consequently a pure channel through which, to the activity of a new religion the work is left in the hands of good as their consciences see it. We are precisely, the seventh ray has done magnificent work. Truth regarding the power to invoke, to use, and gift of the seventh ray for the elevation comes to the end of the 14,000-year cycle. It will be possible to attract all the wealth and development of the highest manifestation of all activity. The activity of the seventh ray has been described, the identity within the vital currents and project the energy that becomes the forms, the development of ceremonial worship, collective or individual. Being educated in the methods is one of the most beautiful activities of this, evolved all the energy through which the consciousness and human experience will be the greatest gift of each ray may spread, opened naturally. Thus we are the perfection that comes to us from the 7 spheres, angelic and devic hosts, just as the kingdom are very attentive to form, and because of form, it is necessary that the consciousness be united consciously and mix in an age of freedom. This is another of the facets that will form the worship of the masses in the shared the vision of total liberation which incorporate its voluntary energies to power. We conceive and execute the model. Humanity will be drawn towards participation, light. I would like to touch upon the methods of these subtle energies so that friends who set in motion the force of their own light, their own internal inspiration. Energy is the primary substance of electronic light through the sun. It is concentrated by the Machan under his direction through the Chohans as spiritual nourishment for the activities that participate in the advancement of progress and the kingdom of God. They are the natural conductors and the climatic conditions. Man is now arriving at the power existing within his own current of energy. It is the educational activity of the seventh, from his heart responding to the mental force to his, so that the passions and appetites of his body obey the creative powers of man. The present day is the result of this blind obedience of gods and goddesses in embryo and without education, who, in this manner, in this obedience of energy, are on their path of redemption and liberation, because only the correct use of his invocation, creativity, and power brings forth new second purposes of God. Energy is channeled through the instrument of consciousness, the invocation of spirit, of ritual, and of word, through music, through cooperation between angels and sacred beings. It is therefore very evident that, to be brought through one of the qualified channels, I am who I am, the presence, the universe focused in a particular point of life for an established purpose, submitted without making the statement. However, on and beyond, in the energy of the breath of the one without man, the power whose presence is announced through the I, is the qualified presence of life, not of God, that is to say, from the central sun of the universe, which endows creation with the use of the recognition of the I, but the qualifying activity that follows of him through his body and senses, the essence of primordial life, which is substance, harmonious, pure, intelligent, obedient, and neutral. This life from the great source of life towards the individual, from the individualized presence, this towards the physical heart. Stabilized consciousness substantiates, which is invested with the honor, becomes the qualifying presence, and the qualifiers determine the form or appearance of every emancipated being that liberates itself in God, adds nature to the presence I am and becomes of God, wherever it may be, just as life with its name or nature acts in accordance to the good. It is therefore very clear that, although all of life, through the affirmation of the qualified, determines the amount of comfort, I am the presence of the ascended Jesus the Christ, affirmation spoken by a human consciousness, following the use of recognition of to develop its individual power to endow with words. Yosa manifests only perfection for his companions and for his planet. Why does coming from the centers of thought and feeling of God accompany the endowment of giving his name to and thus makes the law within himself? Every man alive invested with form and appearance, according to, and nothing can say no to him. In turn, man, his own comfort and to his dealings with the power, man can endow his Christed being with the power of the sacred fire, with the effectiveness by which, as you decide, you will obtain what you total. During the 2,000 years, a religion has evolved for this period. This religion is based on which will be the focal point for establishing this religious worship. It is also based on what the Chuan of the Ray wishes to liberate through this period, entering into the one-year cycle of the movement, the type of religious worship that the masses will have in the future. This worship will include previous ones, just as this fresh and new impetus will move for its development in its principle, voluntary form to help me. These will be the first, when the foundations have been established and a greater number of people will unite in the responsibility of the director and the group, so that the ceremonial activity of the Seventh Ray will take on the responsibility of directing the activity in a minister of the flame through the power of the heart. The energy of the director leads and concentrates as a passive pleasure of service from the current of life, is a participant in the current director and the students can invoke the power of angels through the power of visualization. This can be done through a song, some rituals that involve the use of aromas, musical in nature. The true can combine all faculties and means, moments to the position of the one in charge of to the group, the privilege and responsibility of through directed visualizations, sacred decrees, the unification of the energy released for the ceremonial forms, the strength of this group, feeling in collective form determines the amount, to dissipate evil and set in motion new causes. The director to obtain and maintain the interest of the individual determines the effectiveness of the service. Of duty or fear is practically nil is the hope of heaven. Every current of life, activities of the group to attend meetings, through one of its internal bodies and on very rare occasions through the higher mind, their own development, and if they find a vague vehicle, they must strive to orient it, to cooperate with this portion. Bodies of individuals must be treated as giving all bodies an equal opportunity that he has already developed, for failing to do so could lose the opportunity to serve in the vehicles have been denied the opportunity, enthusiasm for physical activity and may participate, mentally vague or undeveloped and obscures, be helping to constitute the protective head, take great pleasure from instrumental music. Decreeing during a cooperative effort is much 15 minutes and that it remains alive, that one, of the individuals of the group through the change. Cooperation of the physical body, like an arc, or of the other bodies, a greater service can too long in a particular type of service, of all faculties, powers and vehicles and used to pull, focus and direct dissolve anything that is disharmonious, total and unconditional emancipation from the mastery, higher mental, the primary requirements for physical and internal bodies of the participants, calm and inspiring nature. This allows the internal bodies of the students so that the individual reaches their highest potential of service, that is present and working with the group. Students of the director and the spiritual atmosphere that will be obtained through the invocation of decrees, the protection of students and the guidance of these spiritual energies, which is established by the use of the centers, focused and concentrated according to instructions, oriented through each participant who is in motion and directed towards its effects, the ascended hosts of light, the angelic hosts of group work, the music as the great activities of the group work in the world, of this service. Music plays an important role in the emotional world of the individual, relaxing in their mental body. By this means, the structure to the vehicles through which God, in service, is prepared to fulfill its angelic host begins to weave the structure that emerges from the group under the direction of the Master, will determine the class of invisible helpers that will formulate the unseen yet palpable audience of the limit by raising the consciousness of the members, the energy attracted by themselves to render. Beautiful thought forms are built, participating in the vocal accompaniment of the music. The of each vocalizer becomes a powerful influence in the bodies of the participants. Realizing this service, these musical forms, the ideas of music and the builders of other places where there is a great need for and emotional, you will realize that where the internal choral singing is very effective for the physical world, just as the decree lowers the form of energy from the third dimensional plane in the music is established in each of the 7 cosmic temples, often linked to and pours through this representation their God, who is his gift to life, the sacred fire, are given by a divine intelligent being. The fire of creation from the heart of God, and such qualification through the centuries has purified or transmuted, as the case may be, the qualities of God, just as the mind of these beings is always at the disposal of when invoked by the directing intelligence, thus acting element, when a group of its own immortal flame of life commands to its presence, it must obey. This is the individual by the same nature of its own. The nature of the 7th ray is to purify. Chuan, who is the authority of the ray, has endowed divine. You will see that the use of the holy is the privilege and opportunity for the whole, and in group work the methods of action of the fire within the heart cannot be denied in any human or divine realm. It is the law, based on the premise that conquest is assured. The sacred can be attracted, focused, shaped, and by the student, just like that of the natural ray, by the time at which he finds himself in reference to the power to develop the powers of invocation. Recognizing that within his heart is focused, contains within it the model of his future, the model of the future flower. This focal point within life in its dormant state is known as conscious awareness arrives on the path. This little spark in miniature begins to grow and expand in the sealed state in which it has remained and takes control of the power of Christ. This is the second to which it relates to the past, the recognition and acceptance of the conviction and the feeling that through this invoking and attracting from any part of the universe to assist in the environment of the individual, a minister of the sacred fire, who is and directs the flaming presence for the stimulus of life, visualization, and contemplation exists in the consciousness of man, is a divine being that has shaped the amorphous substance of the universe. As soon as man has a thought from his mental body, this determines the clarity and form created by thought and converts it. Through the emotional body of the individual, the emotional state determines the purity and strength of thought and feeling are energized by cooperation. This action can be to focus, envelop an individual, group, or nation with the mystical ring "Thou shalt not pass," which forms a capability of the director to create a clear portrait. Cooperative assembly determines the effectiveness. Form and angelic beings lend their assistance in their substance, and essence is poured out to the individuals serving in locations, masters and the guardians and lenses they use, a quantity of emanations and blessings. The ring of which the ancient spoke can be created by the invocation and use of decrees. The heart forms through the physical bodies. Golden fires around the physical body that is directed toward this internal Christ presence. The ring, until it becomes a true energy that is consciously directed toward must pass during its daily life. The same thing will be given. The covering of the individuals who make up the groups of thought and feeling created by the bodies, of the three-dimensional plane, and brings down the action, where it vibrates in accordance with the same plan, situated. This provides a repository of physical energy to dissipate evil forms and any conditions affecting humanity, which can be released by the spoken word, is greatly intensified by the individual, or to bring down the most sublime energies that form. The truth manifests in each plane when there's a positive form in this plane, in the sphere, in time. The effectiveness of the decree is determined by our release through words and the mental body of the individual, decreeing that it is he who, physical fiat pronounced, unites, for example. The reservation is his own divine feeling, and the word to the conditions that require assistance. The sword would be vague, misty, poorly formed, and student to visualize the activity he established through him, and the quantity of the effectiveness of this activity to gain control. The decree, therefore, the student's interest, must be positive and controlled if the result is to the power that is released by the decree varies from the energy through the vocal cords is the individual on the emotional body, the volume of the same. For example, hysterical screams contribute to no service. However, there are to bring life, and that by applying volume and power, some individuals can, by their nature, tone of mastery, while others cannot transmit a quantity of physical force that provides security. Freedom is on the agenda. Action is energy, whether accompanied by a strong voice or by the voice of silence, by which its nocturnal bed. When the decree is accompanied by the sacred quality that is invoked, the positive quality of insecurity that is sometimes apparent, a deeper sense is given to the group that will be, and correct, the importance of a decree, of thought and feeling are clad in the octave in which the appearance of anguish and focus through rhythmic invocation clarifies the way of thinking and builds the momentum of beings not ascended, but also of, unless the group in which one works. The forces are dispersed. Very little change is achieved when one calls me to work. Decentralize the consciousness of individuals. Centers the power of the invocation of the currents, I enter and dwell in the heart of the fire. The presence of God in the heart of the fire. I am invested with the power of 3 times 3. I am invested with the power of precipitation, and short and clear ends are preferred for of the student, just like the conditions that and the authority of the presence in the heart. Rhythmic decree, and let it build in, which I am through the magnetic power. In the decrees I plead for the use of patterns, destructive such as the hurricane for all, the appearance to come when the forces of the in position to have the inner vision open, beings in the internal levels, when a group of the sacred fire sends a rhythmic release of a desire to remain in this form until the ascending invocation completes its model, the divine begin their emanation in the first rhythmic. The invocation rises to the top of the increased energy penetrates even deeper into the spheres, amplified, the competence of the director in the effectiveness of the decree and the height to which it, the light of God in the world of men, the volume, the rhythm of the energy. Some people may, liberation of the spoken word, others may, the evolution of the individual and trends of concentration, the clarity of the outline of the, to maintain the internal bodies alive are, as there is no limit to the powers of the, as there are no limits to the transmuting power at hand, with which it can draw, protect, and rhythm. The universe is built on the harmonized by decreeing, singing, breathing, to life, and when it is incorporated into the ritual of exhaustion or emptiness, when the energy of becoming an effort, it is interesting to say that the spheres of spiritual or causal bodies are representative spheres. Each stream of life on the planet has, or presence inhabits the particular sphere of. However, this individualized presence does not, any of them, if such is its desire, favorably to the color that is representative of, or the sphere to which it belongs, may, through the meditation of its own presence, come to, by right into the kingdom of God. You will also find color that can be seen as a confirmation of the emanations of the divine head and of the weak. The individual, when he knows the ray, vital, contains a greater stimulus during the sphere is honored by cosmic light. The 7 suns exist encircling and enveloping this focal point of consciousness, each separated from the other by this particular sphere. These 7 spheres are, by great intelligences that realize the consciousness, the development and deployment of its pulses, of its own divine consciousness, all forms and manifestations from the farthest star in the cosmos and onward. These ideas of greater are absorbed by beings, and from each of them and their brilliant glory, natural elements found within each following sphere, and so forth they continue to travel. Glory is mercifully reduced to a point to absorb in a better way their blessings, a constant investiture of the consciousness of divine ideas incorporate into the substance, ordered and may eventually reach the ideas of God, hope for precipitation in the world. Even the heart of creation, the great beings who are known as the Manus of the human race, is called the Chuan of the first ray. The Moria is his directives from the divine head to that of invest in such a way as to realize in this and blessings that will one day manifest in service to life. It is to incorporate these ideas of God and carry them to the periphery through invocation. The flame is to do the will of God through the power. Its complement is faith. The Elohim is Hercules, and his Sunday and his chakra is the laryngeal chakra. Perfection, happiness, and joy of these messengers from the highest, enveloped in the fire of being, then beginning the great cosmic ritual of to the farthest borders and to the periphery. Divine essence within their radiant being. They, heaven to the consciousness of beings from the second sphere, lovingly welcoming the cosmic message and investing them in the substance of their own, forming the atmosphere of this sphere, and then of the third kingdom. In this second sphere, the ideas are molded in the form of thought through this form. The seed of the Father falls on ground, beginning to take a definite shape in the world. That governs this second sphere are the masters, who is an adept of the second sphere of love. Ideas of God coming from the first sphere to the world. His representative, the Choan of the second ray, cosmic through educational channels. In the physical appearance, the representative flame is the through invocation is omniscience, the to God through the Spirit of God. The Archangel of the Elohim is Cassiopeia, and his complement Lumina is the crowning. So great is the wealth of that always moves forward, invested in, always giving itself in rhythmic blessings, receiving the divine emanation in the third sphere, invested with the divine immanence in the patterns of rhythmic vibrations of this realm. These ideas, in vivid pulsating fires of what is to come, direction of this great cosmic representative of with the title of Machan, who is at this moment, third ray in this third sphere, the essence of that descends from the first and second spheres. Life through the natural feeling does not become three-dimensional world. Therefore the third will always be externalized on planet Earth. Then a prism divides the spiritual rays. Thoughts transform into actualized things and through the subdivisions of this to the world. So they work under the supervision of the third sphere is under the Chuan known, cosmic to life. It is to receive the patterns, from them the global movements just like human, and divides them into various materials too. It is given to those who are chains to whom it belongs. These chains in turn project them from there, the conscious or unconscious keelers who are cosmic. The archangel of this ray is the beloved Orion, and his complement Amora. His flame is pink, the qualities of God amplified through charity, the desire to be God in action by the love of the Holy Spirit, a group of beings of consciousness of life anew, a great diffusion of the atmosphere of the sphere of visitation. The electronic substance is absorbed by those who must be developed, the great Choan Serapis be. The thought forms developed are the life of the Holy Spirit in the third sphere. The individual consciousness of beings does not receive the motives and designs that are projected by them through the centuries of work. The physical personalities, or through those who are similar to those who are developing, God amplified by invocation, is the purity of the body, mind, and soul. Therefore, the white or crystal ray which is at the base of the spine, the Archangel is Gabriel. His complement creates these ideas that do not take flight. They move forward, carried by the forces of the fourth kingdom, and lead them to the consciousness of the beings of the fifth kingdom. The seed of the Father, which is awaiting, touches scientists, inventions, and scientific research, receptacles of those dedicated to these activities within this sphere of these temples. These selfless men and women who give to the earth the great Choan of the fifth kingdom is magnified, Thursday, with the qualities of truth, healing, consistency, the desire for the immaculate concept of the Most Holy Virgin, the very Holy Mother Mary. The Elohim is seen as a cyclops, sphere with the essence of God. We see that the glorious energies await their transmission to the sixth sphere. Manifested within the sixth sphere, we find where devotional and emotional worship are released to bless the Orthodox race. The great celestial choir of this sphere is composed of men and women who have responded to the call to their flocks, as their capacity allows. The Christic ministry, the desire to be of service to Christ. The chakra is the solar plexus. Its flame is the Archangel is the beloved Uriel, and his complement Aurora. At the time of preparing the cherubic hosts of natural destiny, the periphery of the kingdom and the world of the lines of the security border, it is necessary to seek the first point of contact with the will of God and his messengers. The seventh etheric sphere of the manifestation of God's pattern is awaiting its expression. The human of limitation and imperfection must be brought to the heart of God. It is therefore the duty to provide a path through which the inner spheres in turn become receptacles of these spheres through the consciousness of violet and are magnified. On Saturday, the qualities of freedom, ritual, transmutation, the desire to apply the laws of alchemy. Its complementary chakra is amethyst. Its Elohim is Arthur. It has been said several times that this kingdom is the beneficial things that have been sent from and the rejection of the external consciousness of man. He was able to transmit these blessings and glories in order to complete the rhythm of creative effort, to offer me his consciousness and ask that his blessings and the perfection contained in my kingdom, or that this happens here in the future, has a divine, resides in one of the seven spheres. Each of these spheres must be a radiant center of spiritual force. He must understand that his higher being is in the development of these spheres, developing certain varied designs that await the receptivity of an expression in the world of form. It does not matter whether they are at an advanced stage of purification. The individual must purify his ray to its most powerful and perfect expression, to become a radiant center of force. The presence resides and has a beneficial effect according to the law of the circle. The law of the circle governs all up to the divine head. Each expression of life responds to its needs, and it is therefore given that what is not generally understood by most life is responsible for the cosmic law of the heart of God. They are also not aware that absolute obedience to the will and commandment of love and generosity of God toward his children, through which the vibrations travel the distance that, projected but still in their trajectory of, and while it is absent from the aura of the individual, it returns to itself. The vibrations that correspond to the cycle return to the place from which they originated. Each quality of thought and feeling of vibration, error in the return of a person's energy, is that of their own generator. The cosmic law is exact in the aura of the one who projected it settles on a harvest according to its nature. If the return energy brings peace and abundance to the individual, a harmful nature, the harvest of the individual and that I will sow, reaps the law of retribution. The terms are synonymous and refer to the same cosmic law through all the experiences he has had, lessons through their effects. It would be much harmony until the element of love inside reaches the point where they wish to act through, you have brought the law, I bring you love under, bringing again to Christ within, his eyes to the perfection of his own archetype, teaching the power of invocation to bring him back to his eternal divine memory and reveal to him that the world be cosmic cycles, the great cycles or circles, and the great cycle of 14,000 years must come to its end, uniting or connecting the great choan of the first ray, the Master Moria, our respective Keelers. We are so united in the present to say that the other 5 chains and their Keelers, the activity that arises in these moments, is much more magnificent, penetrating more and more. The dispensation of the 7th ray is the harvest, the collection of the best efforts of all. This can also be seen as the final act of it. The musicians and artists are presented in taking form. Within this great cycle there is a 7th ray, whether ascended or not ascended. Ray, an opportunity presents itself through a hand to this great cosmic wheel, and this effort made manifests triumphantly. During a period of unprecedented activity, all individuals will have within the new teaching and achieve mastery, and through many centuries of service under each belonging to the planet regardless of the ray, now the opportunity will be given to reincarnate through the true spiritual lines and to consume all that has been sown by his enemy, his being, fruitful to his Lord, will clearly be seen in the harvest of all individuals under his light, involved in a form under the great white brotherhood, in a great effort against the darkness that tries to envelop them. We are called the closing of this great ring. Gods, angels, and men will walk united in peace among the triumphant stars on the day of the fulfillment of the prophecy. The eyes have not penetrated the heart of man. Love will be manifested before all men, the non-awareness of the fact that, while they have the eternal Father, they have never been stripped of their own essence. They create every experience, both good and bad. The students of the new day accept in their senses that they possess the power to change the undesirable experiences that make their daily lives difficult. Man is the authority over energy. It is the substance through which all creation emanates from the body or consciousness of God, undeniable to any mandate of the will of the Father. He who uses it, while this pure energy of life, pure or internal light, may be covered, then obeys every form. For evil, it is this dark covering on our shining star, and the forms when it returns to its aura. It is what causes that service towards the earth as the choan of the 7th is. His errors through the consuming flame, the positive desire for a purer way of life, has constantly emphasized the importance of the continuous use of the sacred fire. I do not exaggerate when I speak of this cosmic violet fire of liberating love, reincarnated and returned thousands and thousands of times. The state in which they incorrectly use the energy of the Master Jesus said that every man is those we meet in the ascended state, and we must account under the cosmic law for, therefore, as the Choan of the dispensation of the eternal Father of all life and light who has granted the accumulation of discord in his impure being to release, cleanse, and purify his mind to raise his consciousness instead of the spirit and walk toward his eternal release. In human form, residences and retreats are a privilege on the path of evolution, as to merit his of the planets on which he has served. Whenever he needs it in the fulfillment of his, they still maintain this focal point on the planet. For one reason or another, this residence is usually a body, and although it may be occupied, the Master has an etheric pattern of place in his corporeal existence there, and his coming and going does not. And what he does is convert the place into a home of homes in this way, in addition to my home in etheric that exists above the Sahara Desert, has been established on earth thousands of centuries ago. Peace, abundance, happiness, and above all intelligence are connected to our divine being, a perfect home from which I envelop the earth. The natural atmosphere of this precious place, if it celestial, can do so through the ray of their harmony that is an integral part of their means, of the great white brotherhood, are so diverse in their of beings of God released to guide the progress of the race is assured in Chambaya, visitors flowing from the throne of the king and are dedicated to expanding the boundaries of an ascended master will govern and execute all the of God. Do you think a non-being could do little for the progress of our star through a clarity and without prejudice of any kind? The impossibility of such service being successfully carried out could provide the means and the way to elevate a Christic being. Do you not believe that the avatars who the Christic emanation from the head of God would and has left? Jesus did the same, leaving room for and the talent of their individual worlds in the pattern. The white has been formed by Sanat Kumara with the children of this planet up to the point where he could dedicate his energy to teaching others. Light is the will of God to allow his children. That is why worlds have been, and women, so that they may experiment with energy through their own conscious efforts. Those who deny other currents of life the opportunity of the divine pattern, these channels do not express the white brotherhood, which is constantly, and to gain the cooperation of the children of many currents of life that can understand the, of all people, not to mention the effort, external for the cause through the centuries. In spiritual perfection, one can almost count on those who have worked intensely to attract attention. Almost invariably, these devoted spirits are through their own self-conscious effort. Few of those who have persisted and understood spiritually from the shepherds of the race within themselves. The sole purpose for to assist in the regrouping of vital currents find that the word destroys when it does not give life, and the masters of knowledge have always had life, the desire to respect certain laws, productive. This is the true path to guide human appearance to the light of God's awakening, lit so that his light illuminates the darkness of from darkness to light. But when the oil are those who fill their individual lamps dries up at the most critical moment, then, of man, many individuals present themselves with the most needy. These do not have the substance to guide to the true path that a guardian spirit chooses to maintain, ascended, that we live in the heart of harmony. Let us renew ourselves in such a way that we can serve better, to find the true path that will keep them united in the world of form. The service of life. Most people follow the course of the free will that has been given to them by the law, opens the consciousness of man to the light of the established by those who have traveled at the Last Supper, the Master Jesus gave the world to his disciples. Here we find ourselves with will always serve the backward, this nobility in the liberated army of light that serves wherever there is of great urgency. These will always be found alongside their needy brothers without being told thank you. Many of these masters of the astral plane, often with their hands, draw from residing in him, also transmute the creations with centuries of misused energy from deep within the darkness where very rarely love and mercy, the karmic debt of our emancipated beings, many of whom have flesh and through their obedience to the law have achieved their eternal liberation. And yet, eyes have willfully rejected glory and suffering brothers. Wherever the spiritually awakened man may be, life offers him the opportunity to serve with knowledge and abilities that allow him for that service to be eliminated. This service is measured by in this way he is allowed to balance his debt to the ordinary course of events would take in his service to life under the aegis of serves his fellows. He is the one who benefits the most, that of giving his life for a friend. No man is unpredictable. Sometimes he strays from the path, only to find, after much pain and anguish, the path that leads him to eternal life, the channel. But from the cosmic source, water always flows, from humanity. And if one door closes from this, another channel will be brought by life, never. Seeking always to reach and extend to, is driven by the magnetism of the souls of never cease to be satisfied. Have you not seen that an obstacle alters its trajectory and traces it is the nature of life, birth and exhalation, and there is no form by which life can be contained. The sun cannot limit its radiance to a human. The souls of men are the concern, white or yellow in all countries, because lighting, what will this dark star do with of its light? The great Lord Sanat Kumara may voluntary exile. On this planet where he has gone and without, has completed with the light of his heart the balance. For a star or a planet to occupy has remained well below its quota since by this great and powerful friend who is generation of light, this planet would have been destroyed. A certain number of humans responded to of light. We hope that through our awaken to your responsibility to release more of our quota of light required by cosmic law, work imposed by himself, and let us accomplish. The earth is destined to go through some. It is imperative that Sanat Kumara be on his planet. It is also very evident that he will not leave to support the earth and its inhabitants until the cosmic law. Is it not surprising that the children of make extraordinary efforts through humanity, from the numbness of their senses to a point serious where this planet, which is truly that by understanding they unite in the totality of their, will not only liberate the beloved Sanat Kumara, but in our system, because of his light, his song, spheres, the law of forgiveness. A question that concerns me to take when discovering a malevolent projection against oneself, or perhaps in cases of this nature, I have always thought that divine intelligence is that of immediately with the burning and consuming flame, and from this it can take form of some kind of origin. Then I will invoke the Christ being of consciousness, so that it understands and revokes the error of the earthly ones, those that, when encountered, create and form tornadoes, hurricanes, earthquakes, and human consciousness weeps. Calling an accident elemental to such creations is an act of great to eliminate all peaks of evil and generators of this disqualified energy. Consume by the power of his flame all the appearance, energy poorly qualified as it is to its creator, proves that he ignores the divine nature of all, of the burning and consuming flame of love, and that would be caused by the return of his energy, without the addition to it of resentment, purifying and consuming burning love, of his current accumulation of discord that forms an impenetrable wall of light around one who continually floats in the atmosphere caused by harmony. It is evident in the daily life of the merciful, powerful, purifying flame to students that the creative centers think to shape the universal light of manifestation and appearances and to dissolve them. There is no other positive that forms and manifests as correct, are not specific when we desire through. Each of the fruits are conceived within the substance of light to form that is carried to the world of form. Thus it is with the manifestations in the three-dimensional plane This for many years before I obtained. Human consciousness chooses a simple design, and you have the manifested form in your hands, your own life energy to create, and your own sphere of influence, and in obtaining your said. Do you dare to know? Do, and be silent. This leads decrees and affirmations of violet fireheart. Heart, be true mercy. Keep me always. Christ in me, free my mind forever. Fire, Spirit of God that gives me bread each day. Fire, radiance of my spirit. Make of the spirit of light. Hand I, every day, the greatest satisfaction of my beloved resplendent presence. I am. Sign to my ascension. Now invoke in the same name of God. Discord, I am the one who invokes the next desire in the name of freedom until forgiveness. Here acting all doubt and fear hangs. Cosmic victory, I am the one who invokes with full place. I flood with the grace of forgiveness, provision, poverty and misery. Knowing now that all good, the hand of fortune of the same God sending, to provide for all the needs of life, perfection, light of truth. Concentrate here all perfection, always anchored in the justice of your plan. I am, of God in man, transfiguration. I am the new resplendent day with the sun of, I am light from within, from outside. I am light that I am. Heal me and purify me until I am transfigured. I am the one who shines like the sun, resurrection, the pure light of God in me now. I am the full light of the presence of God, of the presence of God. I am the one who always lives towards victory, ascension. I am the light of the good realized finally for all eternity. In the air I rise above all, I spread with praise, save all. I am the living Christ, full divine power and daring a resplendent sun. I am that I am the open door that enlightens every man who comes into this world. I am the resurrection, I am the ascension in the and requirements of every hour, I provision abundant, and here and there the perfect manifestation of being I parts. I am a child of God, I am the light in the I am light, resplendent light, radiant light, light in light. This day I am a home of the central sun, a living source of light that can never be extinguished. I am a vanguard of the divine, the darkness that emanates from the light. I am light. I live from the light and the purest intention of the light. I go blessing, strengthening, and proclaiming the divine. In the graphic, 3 figures are represented: the upper figure, the middle figure, and the lower figure. The upper figure is individualized for each son and daughter of the flame, surrounded by colored rings of light that contain in them the first cause, the perfect works, the thoughts and the energies that have ascended from the plane of action, having properly exercised the free will of life, coming from the heart of the presence. The middle figure is the mediator between God and humanity, the consciousness of Christ. It has been designated as the one who dominates over the lower self, encompassing the planes of matter in the 4 bodies of earth, air, fire, and water, the emotional body and the physical body. The 3 figures of the upper figure, the sun, the middle figure, and the spirit, illustrate the soul evolving to become, and whose impermanent aspect is the being. Ascension is the process by which karma, having realized its divine plan, unites with the living life of the I am that I am. Once the incorruptible of being becomes incorruptible, the lower diagram represents humanity evolving. Visualize yourself in the middle of the flame. I am in the name of Christ to purify your energies. The rite of alchemical marriage is the union of the lower figure, surrounded by a tube of light. I am in response to your call, a field of light in matter that seals identity. The heart is the spark of life projected through the etheric planes of the heart chakra, also called the flame of Christ, the flame of man. Its potential to attain divinity descends from the heart of the I am presence, from the lower bodies to sustain in time. It is through this cord that the energy of the crown of the head and the energy flow into the beat of the physical heart. When the I am presence withdraws the crystalline cord, the energies of the 4 lower bodies and the Holy Spirit descend from the heart of Christ. When the individual man, like the figure of Christ, realizes the descent of the Father, the I am presence, this is my Son. The name of God is I am. Through the lost word, the light that has been lost has been revealed to humanity regarding the power contained within it. For centuries, it has been said to humanity, "Call me, and I will give you." Take interest in the work of my hands, and open the windows of heaven, and I will pour out a blessing." Amid millions who have read or heard this, put it into action. When Moses was commanded to go into the desert, hesitating, he asked, "What shall I say to those who ask me, 'Who sent me?'" This means that in this phrase resides the law and the name of God in every human being brought to this earth. I am like the beloved and all-powerful presence I am, which is known as the great central sun. This presence is all-powerful with unlimited intelligence and lives above every human being on earth. This substance and this energy empower the body to live. This individualized focal point of life is what was given in the phrase, "to Moses," life, its own beloved and powerful presence. Throughout the centuries, many people have seen this as an angel. This great presence of each individual is all-powerful, in the image and likeness of God, for the body is the true image of God, and it is God. This body reflects on the physical body of each individual. Unless the electronic body withdraws even further, every electronic body where the enormous power and light are brought to a degree that can act in the octave. The mighty I Am presence pours its light and energy into the human being on earth through a ray anchored in the heart. Through this ray of light, intelligence, energy, and life operate through purity and perfection. But due to discord, this pure energy is contaminated, and that is why it is created. Although there is a different individualization or flame, the individualization has its own, using the only one. Thus, there is only one spirit, one intelligence, waiting to act consciously and be the conscious spirit and the outer activity of personality. If this outer activity of the individual is harmonious, then the manifestation through the outer activity of the individual. If it is a steam engine out of control, it destroys itself. The majority of humanity currently manifests all the good we have used in every body. Our love always belongs to our own consciousness of life within us, which is the source of all life. When we say I am in these moments, it is as important as loving, worshipping, and reaching the universe. If the student confirms his determination, he will continually and sincerely raise the flame of life he uses at every moment, walking so high that he will know, see, and experience every issue he confronts. The name of God is I Am. God is once for heaven and once for earth, as I am that I am. That which is above is below. The student must become accustomed to seeing the I as the divine ego that is above, as the flame of the Trinity. Only the Son has the free will to decree as God decrees, and from that sound emitted into the ether results a form, I am. If the decree is right, the individual's world expresses the fullness of the plan at every moment. If he wishes and takes no more forms and perfect experiences than those he can declare. Thus he is I am by recognizing his own decrees. Every creation of form is in God's plan and will continue to destroy itself. The decree of perfect completion is expressed with a joyful, radiant, and firm consciousness of its magic. Decree anything less than that. The universal electronic substance is to be used for I am, a self-aware being with which he can converse with his great inner master. Light, love, wealth, power, health, and unlimited happiness. Aware of this great presence, I am, in saying this phrase with God, all things are possible. The consciousness of the pure essence of God that all things are, to direct this gigantic power through love, and there will be those who say that it is too important for this day. Individuals who speak like this will submit to their spirit with these ideas to see them arise in the world through our beloved Lord Saint Germain, in his visible and tangible body. These personal experiences are recalled in the veiled mysteries and the magical beloved presence, living a moment that will be archived in time. They will find that time is short, space is narrow, and the sons and daughters of God will reach the top of the mountain one day. For these are the trials that make the age. I am here, I am there, and I am with you always, the ascended ones. The coming of Jesus was a cosmic initiation to use the power of divine love in all things. In the darkest cycle of the earth, he invoked again the cosmic divine design, and this plan is the complete dominion over all things of the inner Christ in every human being. I am. I say that the works I do, you can also do. He knew what he was talking about. He came to show that what is possible can be achieved and expressed by everyone. He demonstrated to humanity the power that every human being has to call forth their divine self to achieve it. When certain individuals who study life seek the light, the rest of the mass of sons and daughters of this earth often awakens in search of instruction. In many cases, this seeks a greater light because the personal self is still little related to these great beings who are there to help. He who seeks to contact an ascended master often finds himself in the same position as a child facing a university professor, insisting that he teach him the great batteries of power and energy charged with his luminous essence. All this is love. That is why they do not. Glorious beings who are the guardians and helpers known as the ascended masters of love and light. This implies because love emanates from them. They manifest their mastery over all that is beyond the human, which is perfection. They work all over the world and do so in a simple and natural way. All that students often ask is why they do not correct discord on earth and do not help the individual who wishes to serve the light. They help to make the body obey the great presence, I am, against destructive forces and life activities. Every individual has their own life plan. Every individual can do this by applying their own energy. All carry human karma before and after each incarnation. The I am presence and the individual Christ self have the right to free themselves from the cycle of karma and reincarnation. Karma means action or deed. Karma is energy. Whatever man sows, he will also reap. Man, in each of his incarnations, goes, and even through his thoughts and feelings, ascension can happen and will happen to all, even to those who are ready. When the balance is at least 51% of all the energy given to them, their hearts are just towards others. The eternal light of the ascending spirit is alive and pulsating. People on earth feel and experience in the form of resentments, vengeful thoughts against places and things, whether unconsciously or consciously. This quality that humans generate in their mind and body, as all things in the universe return to their point of origin. The individual lives in their own world, but if they give in to discord, they force themselves to experience the same thing they have created in the lives of others, just as it emanates from them. Individuals sometimes allow discord to lead them to the point of wishing for the world to be liberated. This can lead to thoughts of death, and whoever casts such thoughts faces consequences. People provoke their own death with this. Humanity has been destroying itself for thousands of years. If it wishes to learn the law of life and obey it, it merely turns through life after life living this law of love. This is the activity of life. Until the outer being seeks the reason for the experience of suffering, there can only be one reason for a feeling of calm, of peace. This is the only basis of harmony and the right use of this energy. It becomes a desire to give and give again. Millions of creations have been written about divine love as the law of life. But divine love must be expressed consciously and willingly to the extent that hatred, etc., is a wave of true force. It is not only possible, but must be done. Expressing perfection, personality can only be filled with divine love generated consciously. The flame of divine love comes from within one's own being. It knows that there is little time left for sufficient love to accomplish this for anyone. It can release the blessings within. The life of the masters is to give, first giving love, then expanding the love and perfection that flows all the time. This is the whole of the law they apply. The individual would realize that they must realize the perfection they desire for it to flow into their world. And this leads to the presence of these great beings. This must be united with determination and altruism. When an individual comes to be in harmony with the constructive plan of life, they discipline their outer self, no matter how unpleasant it may be. They must then automatically allow themselves to reach ascending life, which will observe their struggles and allow them to realize the supreme dictation of life. When manifestations occur constructively, I am the truth and I am the way. Light is the means to rest and reharmonize the faculties of the mind in the face of the worries and discord of the earth and physical life. It is to prepare, perfect, and illuminate to unite with the body of the mighty presence. It is truly a rebellion against the action of life to rest and evolve, for nothing in the universe should appear to be suffering. This leads towards great happiness. Neither should be afflicted, and the human part should realize that it must be in a better place than this. Divine love can never cease to exist and must indeed live where we truly love. In divine love, there is no separation. It is not love. This feeling of separation is what the individual continues to dwell in, because they do not understand the consciousness that acts within them. It is the individual who remains because they do not realize that their consciousness is on a deceased person. This is truly outside of their present moment. When their consciousness is focused on the past, they think and feel, bringing it back to the form where they are. This occurs with them, for you are your consciousness. A simple thought of hate, condemnation, criticism, etc. absolutely assures you that you will have discord and failures. Peace, love, and light do not remain in thoughts. No physical effort can sustain a being that has strayed from the light. We come from the light. Light is supreme perfection, and the worship of light imposes illumination. Every individual who asks for it knows success in their affairs. The ordinary person criticizes, condemns, and blames, while the use and recognition of light would benefit them. By being in harmony within oneself, between the disciple and perfection, to eliminate disharmony, one must remove all destructive thoughts, feelings, and words. Complete liberation for students is total when forgiveness is sincere. The individual frees themselves and is filled with positive things. But remember, as long as there is no true love, it cannot be removed or released. Everything you hold in your consciousness you carry into your life. Whether it contains something that is not perfection, it is the universal substance that is within you and around you. It is a powerful cosmic law that knows no variation. Those who have attained perfection and omnipotence live in obedience to the only law of life. The human race is what they have meditated upon or focused on. They train the light to forget all that is not good. But it is imperative to do so to free oneself from all that leads to unpleasant memories. This leads to the same miserable experiences time and again. Self-control of all the forces within you is the reward for those who walk the path of light. Mastery, the I Am activity, can be achieved. It requires the cooperation of the various lines of force through which the Great White Brotherhood has been formed by the consciousness of certain of its children in this world as Lords of the Flame. And they dedicate their energy to emitting their self-generated light. This is the will of the Creator in union with Him. In fact, this is intended for those to whom men and women have been sent to enjoy the joy of creation through those who deny God or life itself. They do so by the necessity to reflect upon the origin of their agreements and be just in all that they command, but know that it is miraculous for those who do not understand their needs. Within them, this being God has control where their mental inertia does not make sufficient effort. The mind and body continue to be bound by the chains of illusion. If one dares to give it to external elements, they will receive the knowledge of their power. From the beginning, love and praise to the great being in truth, health, peace, the necessary supply, if these are maintained persistently in their manifestation as absolutely as existence. The alchemy of spiritual progress seems to prefer the more spectacular forms of transmutation, changes that would make them divine. That all these things may be added to you includes the substance and energy once man realizes in the supreme ideal. The ascended masters never directly use the universal substance, and all that belongs to the psychic plane must be instantly rejected. Everything that belongs to the emotional plane, unless it brings forth perfection, is an accumulation of human consciousness, and it is only the accumulation of human feeling that contains nothing inherent to a psychic phenomenon. It is a feeling that distracts the attention of personality from permanent knowing. Acceptance of the great presence I am in the psychic plane diminishes the energy and capacity of the source of God and anchors there permanently. The individual does not allow the ascended master to enter except during times of cosmic activity. The law of the individual is during these times of assistance. The earth has entered such a cycle that it has never known before. It is given to purify and restore the order and love of our planet and the system of worlds to which it belongs. In order, balance, and peace, they must of necessity work for their own understanding. This will be the future expression of life in creation, launched into infinity. Let there be light. The primary light from which all manifested form originates. One day the internal perceptions of the soul will realize with the total amount of truth the cycle of the sixth ray, and known as the age of dispensation. Through the vibrations of the seventh ray, we have the precursors of the new age. The first Germain and his twin flame, Portia, were crowned. We are currently entering the period of the seventh ray, the violet ray of liberation. Humanity will be given the opportunity to improve its environment through the correct knowledge of the science of alchemy, precipitation, and the sacred fire that can inaugurate an era known in the world, the great ascended Master Saint Germain, who through his own will and great love is currently bringing some illumination to America in connection with beloved Saint Germain. He said that this is very real. It is a tangible, good and beneficial current of energy that you can accept. The hierarchy, an organization of divine masters, a brotherhood of men under the fatherhood of the white light of Christ, surrounds beings from all nations to count themselves among all, anywhere on earth. And for this reason it is the Grail, the cup through which the great brotherhood of the universe will liberate humanity. For this reason, and if necessary for their protection, while there is selfishness on earth, the cosmic activity and light, many feel this greatly increased energy. The individual qualifies it with their own irritations and conditions, which creates great agitation within themselves and others during the current expansion of light. For the individual, maintaining control of spoken words obliges them to be constructive. Those who want to avoid suffering and loss at this moment in the history of the planet, those who use their intellect to support activities, must face their own destruction. Inevitably, this will be swift and decisive, so that this kind of question will arise in a few hours, weeks or months. When Jesus said, "What I sow, I reap," the Masters want humans to understand this and the work of truth in the consciousness of humanity, as painful as it may be due to the anguish of a great rebirth under the Great White Brotherhood. The messenger, Mark LDC, is here to publish the teachings of Cloak Prophet, who has received intensive training. The hierarch of the Age of Aquarius and his guru, the Master of the Time, are together Mark Pritt and Elizabeth Pritt in the United States and abroad. In 1971, they founded, from East and West, the current revelations of the Master of the 20th century, who demonstrated the laws of devotees of the sacred mysteries before his spiritual realization. Mark Pritt transcended the limits of his transition, his soul united once again, and they affectionately call him the Anello, while he continues to transmit the word of the Lord communicated to the messengers. The teachings on self-realization and the initiations of the Holy Spirit, which are the transition to the Age of Aquarius, are made available to the friends of freedom. They must be capable and set aside obsolete concepts. At the time of Christopher Columbus, it was difficult for people to dogmatically accept the theory of a round earth. Human false thinking, denying the miracles of Jesus, is nothing but the result of the conscious action of one who, when an individual understands and applies the great law of life, can produce accurate results. Thus, during his mission in Palestine, Jesus declared that the kingdom is at hand. We must understand that it is possible. The secrets to governing the laws of nature, even if their motivations are not absolutely pure, will not go unpunished, because one will be entirely responsible for the misuse of the powers of the universe. Those who must strip themselves of their ill-gotten and horrific possessions, produce substance to feed and resurrect the dead, and even do without divine grace. Master Jesus said that the works you will do, America means what they think because it is the heart of the hearts of humanity. This great almighty remnant of selfishness and political intrigue that will be in the years to come, until humanity understands that miracles have not passed but are forever. The assistance that students under this radiation and put before humanity, for this is the time, chapter 29, third paragraph of the Book of the Ascended Masters, is to let the light spread to the humanity of the earth soon so that their existence is nothing else but love. Saint Germain, as a courtier, adventurer, inventor, alchemist, known for being a recurring figure in the history of humanity from 1698 to 1781. Some sources cite that he comes from the Latin Sanctus Germanus, meaning Saint Brother, and it is very likely that he was born on May 26th in the year of the last king of Transylvania, François Rosy, his death being recorded on February 27th, 1784, in the very Holy Trinosophy, better known as Trinosophy. He therefore wrote the other books attributed to him. Although he was not opposed to the monarchy of France to avoid the revolution, this was not taken into account.